Hi guys, how you doing? We're live and we're watching, we're about to actually watch the Ashes of Creation development update live stream on Twitch. All right, so looking forward to it. I don't know what they're gonna really talk about. I mean, I guess it's gonna be normal stuff. It's gonna be updating us on what they've been working on, hopefully show us some gameplay or, you know, at least a lot of good screenshots I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for some good information. You know, the last live stream was basically Steven Shreve answering everybody's questions, which was one of the more helpful live streams that they've done, in my opinion, because he answered a whole lot of questions that people were wondering. It wasn't the normal, you know, just the normal shill questions that people ask all the time. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It wasn't, you know, it was actual, they were difficult questions that are important questions that need to be answered, and really going into certain systems that are going to be relevant in the game, which I thought was awesome. Okay, so today I'm joined by Maezriel, and he has a podcast on Organon, and I'll let him tell you guys a little bit about himself. So go ahead, Mez.
Hello. Yeah, as Hiro said, I'm Maezriel. I'm kind of a recurring guest now, and yeah, I do a lot of World of Warcraft stuff, but like Hiro, I'm just super excited for Ashes. Hoping to see a little bit more. Honestly, I'd like to see some more class stuff. I think that's kind of what a lot of us are hungry for, is to see what their plans are for 36 some odd different classes.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that too. I want to see how they work well with each other. Hey Pixie, how you doing? All right, so we're gonna watch the Kickstarter video right now, guys, because Maezriel's new to getting into Ashes of Creation and really wants to learn all about it. He has told me that he's been, you know, researching and looking into stuff, but we're gonna go ahead and watch over this video while we wait for the live stream to start. Seems like we got about 6 minutes left. This video is 11 minutes, so we're not going to make it through the whole thing, but we can at least get it going and take a look at what it's all about. Okay, so I'm going to start it right now. Okay. I've seen this video probably about 100 times now. It's so awesome. It's an amazing Kickstarter video. Keep in mind, this came out 2 years ago, I think. A little over 2 years ago, something like that, this video.
It was for the Kickstarter, it'd be 2015.
Yeah. Oh, wow. The Kickstarter's 2015? Dang! Okay, so it's been a long time. And it's so great to watch videos like this because now
Hey guys, my name is Steven Shreve, and I'm the creative director here at Intrepid Studios. We're working on an upcoming MMORPG named Ashes of Creation. And I'm pretty excited to share with you today on this Kickstarter what we're all about. Ashes of Creation is an open world, non-faction based MMORPG set in a high fantasy world. One of the reasons that I started Intrepid Studios to create Ashes of Creation is because I myself am a gamer. I've been a gamer playing MMORPGs since I was 7 years old, and you know, I've really never experienced a community quite like what MMORPGs have to offer. It's a diverse community. There's a lot of people involved. I mean, thousands of players from across the world, and it was just such a passion of mine to be able to experience that involvement in a game like an MMORPG. Over the past several years, having played MMORPGs, I was kind of not impressed with what has been coming out of the genre. A lot of pay-to-win, cash grab style games, and I just felt that there could be something better. And you know, if you want to get things done right, sometimes you just have to do them yourself. So in order to accomplish these goals for Ashes of Creation, I really needed to find a team that had a lot of experience with MMORPG production in the past, because as you know, an MMORPG is a massive project.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of good talent here, and we were able to pull together a pretty amazing team. A team that's worked on Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 2, Call of Duty, and a lot of other titles. The reason we're here on Kickstarter is because we want to expand the scope of our project. We want to make it bigger and better. We also want to give an opportunity to you to participate in that community development, to be in on our discussions of design. We feel like Kickstarter and crowdsourcing is a pretty good avenue towards that development.
So this
Ashes
game
of
was
Creation
already
is
completely
really about
funded
4
before
primary
this came
pillars
out.
of our development.
So that's important
it's
to
about
note.
our node system, which is an integral part
It was completely
of
funded
exactly
before the
how the
Kickstarter.
world
Yeah,
works and
That's what I
interacts
meant,
with
before
you
the
as the player.
Kickstarter.
It's also about our
It's
meaningful
completely funded by
conflict,
him.
PvP,
The
and how you
Kickstarter
can
was for,
catalyze change
you know,
in the environment around
to
you.
basically
The economy is our third pillar, which
possibly get
focuses on
more
incentivizing
money
you as the player
to add more
to
things.
get out in the world and interact with it. And last but most important, potentially, is our narrative. The narrative.
Yeah,
really
that ability.
holds
I
all
don't
of
think
those
that ability is
systems
going to be in the
together,
game anymore.
keeping you as
They
the player
talked about
interested
that
in
one.
exactly what different outcomes come about.
The whole bubble.
When players first arrive on this world, they're going to find it devoid of civilization. There's wilderness everywhere, and it's up to the players to kind of bring civilization to this world. These nodes are how players do that. There are tons of nodes throughout the world, and each of them has a zone of influence. This zone of influence captures all the activity of the different players doing different things. It could be crafting, it could be fighting, it could be gathering. Anything that might give you experience is something that the node's going to be paying attention to.
My favorite
And
part.
as you
Favorite
level
part
up
of the
your
game by
character,
far.
the node levels up with you. And as it
Look at this,
levels,
look at this.
more and more civilization gets attracted to
This
that
is
area.
amazing.
We want the world to react to the player. That's the most important part, is the world is reacting to your actions.
Different nodes attract different events. The world doesn't stay quiet for long, and civilization disturbs deep and dark things throughout it. A city that grows up on the side of a mountain might dig a little bit too deep and might disturb the things that are below. And that might include like a giant dragon that erupts with a volcano and lays down waste to that node that developed there. And that's something that wouldn't happen any other place. That's an event that's unique to that particular node at that particular time.
Which
and because
some
of that,
servers
players
may
are going
never
to
ever
experience
discover.
this game very differently,
you know?
depending on how they build it. Each server is going to have its own story, and we're pretty excited to see what players do with that. How do they react to that dragon coming out that mountain? Do they pack up their bags and move? Or do they decide to fight it, to gather all of their friends and take down this monster because this is their home? So that's what differentiates our game from most others. It reacts to what the players do. It reacts to the player's decision.
While you're developing these points of civilization, there is a mechanic for change, and change relating to that meaningful conflict.
Because players are motivated by different things, because they want something from the game that other players don't want, that's going to cause people to butt heads. Different players are going to want different experiences, and the conflict between the two of them will create a bigger and better thing. Out of strife comes rebirth, and that's a core symbol, it's a core theme that occurs throughout the game.
Our castle system, our sieges against nodes, the caravan system, battlegrounds that exist,
Excited about the caravan system. That's going to be really interesting to see more about.
This
They've been
conflict.
showing a little bit of that lately,
players to
but
actually
I need to see
have
more.
some skin in the game when it comes to participating in PvP. If you own a home in a node and you don't want to see that home destroyed, you need to defend that city.
Absolutely.
Risk versus reward is what gives you that adrenaline. It gives you that meaning to participate. So what drives you as a player in the game? For a lot of people, it's the economy, and that's why it's our third pillar. We really want the economy to incentivize you to interact with other players, to get out there and get resources to develop the world. We've regionalized our marketplaces. We've regionalized our warehouses.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead
it's not
and,
just one global auction.
I'm going to go ahead and switch this over then to the live stream, and we will watch this.
Oh, and I'm the big dumb. It was 2017, not 15, so just close to 4 years.
Okay. I thought so. I didn't think it was that long ago. That's a 2015. Yeah. I was like, wow, time flies. Okay.
That was on me, but
no, it was still in development, right? Since 2015, because they were doing work to it for 2 or 3 years before the Kickstarter even came out. You know what I mean? They were working on. They were, laying down ideas and putting a team together and stuff like that. Okay, here we go, guys. Excited.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, we gotta turn this up.
Welcome to our game development update for July. Ooh, it has been a
She's like she just got out of the shower.
How are you two doing?
Doing good.
I'm
doing very well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful weather here in San Diego, even though we're not allowed to go outside. But no.
We can go outside. We can't
We
be
can
inside.
outside.
Yeah.
Just like not too around other people.
I'm going to the beach.
Are you going to the beach?
No, we went last weekend.
No. I like
Jeff's
that.
got some weird thing going on. Your camera's like doing some weird thing. I don't know what's happening, man.
It's
My
not me.
camera?
It's the
It's like the
aliens.
ghost in the machine.
Hang on, checking my connections.
But my heart is racing because we have lots of new people in our community. So first and foremost, I just want to say a huge welcome to all of you who are joining us. If this is your first time watching a game development update, I'm going to kind of walk through what we'll be covering and some quick updates, and then we'll get into it. We roughly do these about an hour, but sometimes they go over because we really like talking to you all. And normally we do like a Q&A segment, but because we just did an AMA recently, and you could check that out on our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/assetofcreation. We aren't going to do a Q&A segment, but we will be pulling questions from the channel throughout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the first things first, let's introduce ourselves so people know who we are and what we do on the project for all the new folks. Obviously, I'll start with Steven. So go for it, Steven.
My name is Steven Sharif. I'm the creative director as well
Moneybags.
as the founder of Intrepid Studios.
Slap that arm around.
And I'm sure all of you have seen a lot of Steven around lately. He's been
Talks to
chatting with
him.
a lot of folks and answering a lot of questions. So thank you, Steven. And I've also seen you popping
Steven's
in on
awesome,
the
dude.
social
Freaking
media.
love this guy, dude.
Sometimes I'm like going to reply to
everywhere these
somebody,
days.
and then I see that Steven has already replied, and I giggle because some of the stuff you say is really funny.
I apologize for some of my tweets from the official Ashes of Creation Twitter account. Sometimes they can get a little memey, but I have a lot of fun interacting with people, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the interviews over the past couple of weeks with Summit, with Shroud, with Asmongold, with Tim the Tapman. It was a lot of fun to just chat with fellow gamers and MMO players who share, I think, a similar passion for the genre, and it's been great to see their community's reactions, and it's awesome to welcome you guys if this is the first time you're tuning into our development update. We've been doing monthly development updates, ever since
For
the
2
end of
years,
Kickstarter,
man.
every month for the past, over 3 years now.
Oh, 3, okay.
Because
Not
we really
bad.
do believe in
Bad on
the
time.
transparent, development process and how beneficial that can be.
Warcraft
And I
players
know you
learn
guys
the
have
hard way
talked
with
about this in the
BFA.
past, but
Wait for something
how
to get
beneficial that
finished.
can be engaging the community early on.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you build a game up and you don't show anything of that game until 3 months out from launch, it's very difficult to go back and fix things, and that can cause a lot of issues.
Absolutely.
So I, as a gamer, am a firm believer, and now as a developer, in that.
And that's why I'm so
process,
supportive
and
of
we
this
really
this
enjoy that
project.
You guys are now
It's
tuning in
honestly
and
because of
helping us
him.
get that feedback.
It's because it's being headed by
Do not
him.
apologize. Do not apologize for being memey, because I think that's awesome. That is our culture. I think it's okay. But I do think, on that front, it is very interesting and different to be showcasing development. So we do want to set the expectation that a lot of these things that you're seeing are in development. So yes, of course, animations are going to change. Of course, art's going to be updated. Of course, systems are going to be more robust. This is the first phases of them. So keep that in mind as you're watching things and as you're learning about things. And we try our best to explain that. But if you see it from a third party, it might not always give that same impression.
Yeah, one of the favorite things I have actually about a transparent development, and now having 3 years under the belt in this production of Ashes of Creation, it's always fun to go back to like the first gameplay footage that, when it was just like me, Jeff, and a handful of other people in the studios, and take a look at, where the game has come from at that time. And in 3 short years, where it's at today, keeping that kind of that storyboard timeline in place really gives you perspective on just how things with iteration become better and better and better. And knowing that, even though you're seeing pre-alpha gameplay like today on the stream, or you saw our 4K footage that we released last month, like it still gets much better from there. That is without polish, without optimization. You're getting an inside look at what it means to build this massive project. And really, we are one of the most ambitious MMORPGs I think really ever attempted, not because we're trying to reinvent the wheel, but because we're bringing in a culmination of these systems and designs we've seen in other games as inspiration on how to make a truly PvX, sand park experience. And I think that's something really fun to watch.
And of course, Jeff,
I think we should republish that first combat video.
No.
Yeah. Then people can see exactly how far we've come.
When we launch, I'll agree with that. But
Okay.
until then, let's keep that under
I'm going to hold you to it.
Because, there's some percentage of an audience that's first-time lookers and they don't understand what we're saying right now on stream. They're not one of the, 12,000 people who are tuned in currently. So they don't have context. And when they see that first video, they're going to be like, oh,
they'll think it's amazing.
This is trash. This is dog, shit or whatever. So we got to be cognizant.
Language, Steven.
And of course, Jeff, if you want to talk a little bit about what you do on our team and all of that jazz, because we haven't gotten to you yet.
I am Jeffrey Ballard. I am the lead game designer for Ashes of Creation.
I love it. I love everything
been with
about
the
it.
studio for 5 years now. It's been a while. So
it's nice to
we like
have
making fun
games
games
created by the people that play the games, not by the people that were educated to create the games. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
We're going to be doing
Not even just that. Like you can see in BFA a lot of systems where there's no way the developers played it.
Yeah. For you all, because I know you always ask. We will be talking about kind of harvesting and gatherable stuff. So
something's either fun and exciting,
definitely stay tuned for that.
And fresh,
on the environment side, we'll be doing an environment update with a lot of goodies from there, as well as
real in
a
between
character update with some information from that front.
Okay, character update would be nice.
To get through the quick updates, just because I want to get through those really quickly, I'll try to go fast. I will switch over to another scene quick.
Oh, and by the way, for those of you guys first time tuning in, these development updates aren't always really grounded in gameplay footage. You're going to see some gameplay footage, but really this is kind of about, I guess, showing the process of what it takes to build a game. So you're going to see a lot of art-related stuff. You're going to see, models of characters and creatures and mounts, and you're going to see, effects and design discussions and, pretty much really this is focused on what it means to develop a game and less around marketing or hyping, so to speak.
That's a very important distinction to make, and I don't think people understand that when they're seeing the footage
of the game. So
because they're not used to seeing footage
of our
at this point in development for games.
The production of the game.
I just want to see what it's gonna a closer representation of what it'll look like when it's finished, as opposed to like cinematics. I hate cinematics from my games.
On our Discord, so definitely go check those out. We have more coming along the way as we lead up to alpha, so definitely check them out. Jeff really likes them. As he was watching Mike make these, Mike's our graphics guy. Thanks, Mike.
I like the Nerd Rage one.
Yeah, he walked by, he's like, what is that? So cute. But yeah, this is Nick and Fee, or Fee and Nick. Phoenix, get it? Huh? They're amazing. We kind of had like
I need to make a Hiro 2020 emote, just like the Nerd Rage one. It says Hiro.
Nick is like the older brother. Fee's like the little sister who's always getting in.
Anytime I say something stupid and I die 2 minutes later in the game, Hiro 2020.
There's more emotes coming along. We're gonna try to get 50 emotes. We know everyone keeps asking. Next, we have our packs. People have been asking me to let you guys know whenever those are going to be swapping over. These will be swapping over on August 5th, 2020 at 11 a.m. This is 11 a.m. Pacific, I should say. These are also noted in our news articles as we announce new sets, so you already know the dates whenever they're swapping over way in advance. So just keep that in mind because some folks didn't realize that was the case. We do have...
And by the way, just a quick note on the pack stuff. I know we've been getting a lot of people asking how they can, purchase an Alpha 1 access. About 2 years ago, I suspended the sales of Alpha 1 packages, and that was primarily because we had already reached kind of the peak testing group that we wanted to have for Alpha 1 before we allowed additional people to come in. That may change in the future. It depends on how the testing will go. It would not change until after the initial stress testing and getting everything solidified on our end where we feel comfortable that we can go above that 10,000 person limit that we restricted those pack sales to. So if that is something you're interested in, right now it's not available. You can always upgrade any package that you may own. But otherwise, if you don't want to buy a pack, it's perfectly fine. Just sit back. It's going to be not under NDA, so you can watch other people playing on stream. You can get people's kind of idea of the game and its current status and understand what we've implemented from a core feature standpoint as well.
Cinematics don't usually represent the games properly. If I was going to judge WoW on cinematics, I would have started playing. I agree with you completely.
This one is a little bit different because it basically came from the AMA with Steven. So we've decided to put out a multi-boxing conversation because folks were... It was kind of like a heated back and forth conversation.
Expensive.
So we were like, let's kind of see what the community sentiment is overall. And then the dev team is going to take that report and kind of discuss it internally. And maybe we'll change our mind. Maybe we'll keep it the way that we currently have standing on it. But you can go check that out over on our forums, forums.ashesofcreation.com. And we also will have another new dev discussion coming up in August, as per usual. So stay tuned for that as well.
As per usual.
Take one away. We're just giving you an extra one, because Jeff has a long list of questions for us to get through. So we're definitely trying to get through those.
Like a year's worth.
Yeah, and the last update that I have for you all is, and I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm nervous. There's so many people here. Someone's like, "Girl, slow down."
What are you talking about? Did she not see how many people were with Asmongold?
We have this lovely statue that is.
I think it's different
when
he's been Asmongold for like 5 years.
This month, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely go check it out. We did announce that.
I said, did you see how many people were watching last time they were live when Asmongold was streaming it? There's still that many people watching. They're just not watching on your channel.
Trying to get everyone's NDA
but they're still watching it.
Didn't see an email come in, definitely check your spam and junk mailbox because we have sent those out. We're going to send out another reminder today for new folks who have upgraded. So if you get that email, please check it over the weekend, get us your information, and our CS team will start back up on Monday sending out those and getting you flagged so that you have all the information as we publish that to you all.
Yeah, and just to be clear, anybody who registers between now and when is it, Margaret? September?
Yes, I was just going to say that. So this will be for anybody who has registered from April 7th, 2020 to September 7th, 2020. And we'll do, 12 a.m. or 11:59 a.m. or p.m. PDT, that type of thing.
And there's no purchase behind this. All it is an account registration, so you can participate in the forums and get involved in discussions. Anybody who registers on the site gets this as a home decor item. It's going to be a pretty cool little item that signifies the struggles that we as humanity have gone through now with COVID.
Dude. We gotta have that, guys.
And are continuing to go through. It'll have a little bit of some effects as the portal there, and will be placeable in your home on a table or a mantle, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like that. Yeah.
Excited. So that is it for our quick updates. So let's get right into our studio update. If you want to take it away, Stephen.
Absolutely.
Take it away, Stephen.
As many of you have probably seen, sorry, my dogs are walking up. As any of you guys have probably, I can't, the little thing, the camera's on like this tripod thing.
The little thing.
No, anybody who's been following, our socials may have noticed that we have now begun our next round of hiring. We have listed 24 positions that are available at the studio. I was a little bit hesitant early on with this COVID crisis to initiate that next round, but honestly, we waited as long as we could. It's not, looking good from a coming back to the office standpoint with the working from home condition, but the team has been really amazing in maintaining productivity. As a matter of fact, being actually more efficient and working from home, as we've noticed. But the onboarding process while in a work from home state is obviously difficult, but we had to bite the bullet and begin that next phase of hiring. So I believe we've now secured about 7 of those 24 positions. So one thing that's really helpful, by the way, guys, if you like the ideas that we're talking about, if you like the philosophies that we have within the project, if you have favorite developers out there that you like, I'm all for you helping us share those posts for our hiring phases, tagging your favorite developers and saying, hey, have you heard of Ashes?
Yeah,
I am unabashed in that sense. So, don't worry about doing that.
This is a very cool project, and it's something that, I don't think too many developers will get a chance to work on where we're at right now and kind of the amount of contribution that you can make to the project. For a project that is this big, you get to work on a lot of really cool, interesting problems and kind of be on the bleeding edge of MMOs. So don't be afraid to share that. But otherwise, regarding studio update, I know previously I had hoped that we would have been into our new studio
in August/September timeframe. Unfortunately, the way it looks like COVID is going, and especially in our great state of California, it doesn't look like that time frame is going to be
I wonder how
possible.
many cups she looked at before she decided to use that one mug.
Us entering back into the studio, the new studio, till
So
sometime after the new year, because
the original Ashes map is based off of Kevin's old Pathfinder campaign. D&D runs deep in that
it would
place.
just be
Steven's
too
old.
hectic to come up
Steven,
upon
you're right.
that
Sorry.
timeline,
And that's
and
what I
at the
was
same
saying,
time
yeah.
trying to service a live test client. That would be problematic in my opinion. So that's a little update on the move process, update on the hiring process. From a development standpoint, as you guys know, you have seen me likely doing some interviews and whatnot. The desire, let me just be clear, the desire there is not to drum up hype for the game. I know that hype can lead to the dark side for many projects.
Very true. Very, very,
we
very,
don't wanna
very
be
true.
on that front. What we want to do, however, is be open and transparent and give people the opportunity to discuss
involved.
their feelings and their
Get
thoughts
involved.
on our design ideas, to watch our testing periods, to give feedback in that regard.
It's important.
There is still a long road ahead of us. We are a very dedicated, passionate, and productive team. We have a lot of veteran MMORPG developers from many other favorite franchises that you guys have played. We just want to keep that open, transparent development process going forward. And that's really the reason for getting fresh eyes on the project. It's always beneficial, to take into account the feedback that, community members who have been with the project for a long time have, but it's also great, fresh, and constructive, I think, to receive new, fresh feedback from fresh eyes who may not be as close to the project as our existing community. And that doesn't mean we don't love our existing.
A lot of people got excited because
but it's great
Kevin
to
Jordan,
diversify
who I
the
got Kevin
feedback.
from,
I think
is
that's something
veteran
that's very
WoW
beneficial,
developer. He was with it
as
from the
well.
very,
So
very beginning. He
you've
said
seen
some
me
of the
doing
first
some of these
class
interviews
designs,
that really is
all the way up
intended
till
to get
Kata.
fresh eyes on the project,
And
fresh
he
feedback.
confessed a small
But
interest in the
otherwise, that's, I think,
project.
the general update for the studio.
I mean, how can you not have interest in this
We've got
project?
a
This
lot
is
going
like,
on, and as
yeah,
Kevin said, we're
this is a great
been
project.
through everything, even with working from home. Obviously, we're still doing our game updates from home, so you see us in our house. I'm kind of sad, Jeff. We don't
Why are
get
you
to see
sad?
because we don't get to see the princess castle behind you anymore.
Oh, yeah. She hasn't been playing with it too much lately, so and it was taking up a lot of space in the living room, and it was kind of, had to spread our wings a little bit. But it'll probably come back, maybe towards the winter when she gets more interested in it again. We'll see.
We got to get you like a little princess crown so you can. So moving on over to Jeff. Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about the design team and what you all have been working on. And we do have a lot of footage, so we have some cool particle effects updates that we're going to showcase, as well as a 17-minute long video. So we're going to show that off as well.
Dang, 17 minutes, dude.
Yeah,
Let us
so it's
We're gonna
been
need to get a drink for that.
sort of, we hit our big milestone kind of back in May, and so the time that we spend after that is sort of catching up on other things, right? So we learned a lot of stuff from that test, and so when it comes to kind of figuring out where we want to go and what tools we need next in coming up to these next milestones that we're going to tackle. So a big thing we need are tools that allow us to scale towards the sort of massive game that we're trying to build right now. So the design team's kind of sitting down, defining all of those tools, kind of figuring out what we need to do to move forward and, do things like populate a huge, gigantic world. How do we do that quickly? How do we do that efficiently? And how do we do that interestingly? So we sit down, we write a bunch of definitions for engineering, and then they start building tools for us. And we're kind of getting towards the end of that process right now.
Right, and really what Jeff is talking about, there's obviously, as you begin to stand up different phases of a project moving into the first alpha, you have these rudimentary tools that help facilitate that process on the design front. But as you begin to work your way through implementation of certain core features or content, you start to better define what those tools will require because you've gone through that first process initially. So as we go back and we iterate, essentially, talking with engineering about, what additional features this tool requires, how we want this to interact with the content we're attempting to implement, that gets further refined until when we have a full pipeline in place with those tools, it really expedites the process and accelerates the ability for the designers to implement things into the world.
Do you want to give an example of a tool to kind of help people who maybe don't understand like the logistics of how that works?
Yeah, for sure. Like, so we populate our world with spawners, basically, and the spawners talk to the nodes, and they kind of know what the state of the world is, right? There's a lot of data on any given spawner, but the process of actually placing those spawners in the world and setting that data can take a long time. So we have a huge world, and we need to put a lot of monsters in the world, and we need to have a lot of different states being covered by what the nodes can be, right? So what we discovered is we need sort of a world manager.
Certain nodes are going to house certain enemies. Certain nodes at certain levels are going to house different levels and different types of enemies, right?
Individually setting up.
The world's going to be consistently changing in this game.
So that's kind of where we're going on the population side, something that can help us.
I can see how that's going to take a long time to do.
World. Because if you keep in mind, right, a
if you're
node
going to do it right,
any
right?
number of states, right?
You got to do it right.
Level 3 and an elf
Not just
node.
do it right, but
level
do it.
6, and it could be a human node. And
lag is honestly my biggest fear. Not just like, okay, we just started and you have like a huge influx that happens with every MMO launch.
I don't know what that ends up
in general, because there's so many moving pieces here.
And so,
gosh, so many.
Help us out that way, and that's the kind of tool that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So I have some cool particle effects. I'm going to be swapping some cameras over, so it's going to take a moment before our cameras are all in the right spot. So bear with us. Oops, wrong one.
Yep, wrong one.
No,
ooh, look at that.
I see there's a lot of people in chat talking about a Frognar race. I guess that'd be kind of like a heavily frog-influenced Tolnar species.
That's what it sounds
I don't know if that falls into the
that's Discord
memeing category.
Yeah,
the frog attributes, or more.
That was a cool race, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I love playing that race.
Oh. Are we showing that video?
Yeah, it accidentally went up. Sorry, I hit the wrong thing.
Was it frog walk or something?
I originally had it in a different order, but you wanted to switch it, so I forgot to move it on the screen. So the first thing that you're seeing here is actually our blink ability, and we're also going to show the blink impact. We've been doing a lot of particle effect changes, and I'll let Jeff kind of talk about the design behind that.
Yeah, so I don't know, people who may be familiar with Unreal
know
that Unreal
ability.
moved a little while ago to from Cascade as a particle system solution to Niagara. And Niagara is a really cool, really smart.
Does this confirm that they watch Rick and Morty?
So we've been kind of transitioning that. Our RFX guy, Jim Sanders, who is just amazing at what he does, has been playing with it and trying to integrate it into our pipelines. And we're pretty much set to go there. So all of our new effects will be authored in.
Not a lot. That blink looks a hell of a lot better than it does in Warcraft.
Houdini, so we're doing some
and of course,
stuff there
even these
effects.
And just
effects are not. I mean, it's still going to look way better.
I was just
going to
say, just to give people context for this particular.
Yeah, this is still like
this is
their first iteration.
This is one of the Mage's kind of fundamental mobility skills. Their teleport option. And just so you guys are aware, the way kind of we work with skills,
I can't tell how far they blink
you
forward.
can allocate into active skills based off of your base
they
archetype,
only
right?
blink forward,
and
like from that part of this part. They hardly blink forward.
You can give additional.
That might be because it's a rank 1.
You know, additional features for that skill per se. So the initial active skill of teleport may only
like the fog is way further than he is.
What you're seeing, I think, from this perspective, it looks like he's teleporting backwards. That would be an additional feature that would be unlocked by allocating more skill points, which makes the teleport omnidirectional. So as you're essentially looking within a,
I think that's like
as you're essentially keystroking in a particular direction and you activate the skill, your teleport ability will teleport you, maintaining your direction in that area.
It's literally teleporting you 3 steps forward.
This is one of we call this our zoo level, and it's basically got all of the mobs populated here in sections according to level, so that we can jump in really easily and kind of tune things.
Yeah, it's kind of like their dev build area, so they can just do testing and stuff.
No, I think that's skipping that whole block. That'll be closer to like 20-ish, 25-ish meters.
No, but it's not, because you can see how this one's checkered and that one's square. It's not skipping a block.
The tool tab. Yeah.
See, this is a checkered block.
I think it's skipping that. I think it's skipping the checkered one. It's just the depth is bad.
No, you can see this is not checkered. The other one before was not checkered. That one was flat, and the checkered one was in front of the hard gray square.
So that's kind of the thing that's playing off of your mesh when you do that.
Okay.
Obviously, this is not a real character; it's just a fake character. And when Jim's setting up his ability, he usually uses these pawns so that it's a really quick iterative process. You don't want to necessarily worry about all the functionality and making it work with a pawn at first when you're first setting up those particle effects. So yeah.
Yeah, and the great thing about Unreal Engine, especially with their newest update to Niagara, is really the front end, the graphical fidelity that Unreal Engine offers is so beautiful. And it's great when you have a very capable and talented artist like Jim who can really take advantage of those.
But he's right. It could just be a rank 1, right?
Just maybe pump out really great.
Yeah, they're supposed to be able to rank them up if you want to.
Yeah, and so it could increase the distance, which would make sense, right? If they started at a healthy distance, then you're not going to necessarily need to rank that up.
Absolutely. This is a skill, I believe, that the mage archetype has, which allows the mage essentially to grant a portion of their mana to a friendly
just how stiff the characters look.
So you're seeing...
I think that's just him casting a buff.
Well, no, but like in general, the way they move, the way they, the way they stand, the way they everything, it looks so robotic.
On that effect.
And again, I get it. It's pre-alpha. These things change, but I'm just saying this is...
But the way that it lights up.
A lot of
yes, but like look at that
character animation, right? They just don't.
Look at the idol in the background, and that does look pretty good.
That I've given Jim with regards to kind of the style
that chick in the background.
Of these
I think she looks horrible.
I'm a huge
arms
fan
are spread
of
out like that. Who stands like that?
Elements incorporated into
except for like
special
about when
effects
she's
for the
moving.
characters and certain skills.
No,
and I really love the way that
standing
Jim
still. She
implemented
looks like a robot.
This fog appearance as well as that lighting, just to illuminate even further the depth of that gaseous.
Look like she's breathing.
I think it's a really cool component of magic and arcane art from an immersion standpoint.
Yeah, he's working on a lot of cool like fog and things of that sort. That is really neat.
I do like that, the fog.
The question that I had that was from chat was actually in regards to graphics and like different settings and what those particle effects will look like. I don't know if you all want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, as we enter into phases of optimization and as we're developing these types of effects, we're taking into consideration that players will have a scalability setting that they can tune, which is appropriate for their rig or hardware that they're running, that kind of lessens the load on the client in order to render these types of effects or these numbers of polys on the character, or essentially just having scalability options.
Yeah, it needs to have small movements to resemble a breathing NPC rather than a statue.
Can scale
I completely agree
down
with you.
so it's not as intensive on their rig.
All right. I'm going to switch over to...
I like how this guy here randomly is moving back and forth, but then again, he has a nameplate. This person doesn't have a nameplate. She doesn't have a nameplate.
That's what I've been talking about. I've been talking about the person with the nameplate.
Okay.
The one that's actually moving.
Well, when you said
so
woman.
This is Prismatic Beam.
That's
this is one of those channeled skills, so it does more damage the longer you go down.
I love the way this skill looks.
In place, but it's a really high damage, high risk, high
So
reward
with the scalable graphics, I know one worry is if we'll see a repeat of like early Overwatch, where it kind of became mandated. You had to crank down your graphics because it would actually remove things like banners and grass that players would hide in.
Feels like a nice, awesome.
So like if you were playing at a higher graphic, you were actually at a disadvantage in PvP. And with the skill-based parts of the combat, that's going to be important.
That's kind of, we always feel, and flow is really important to us always. And this really captures kind of that, like, you are channeling some serious magic here.
All right.
Yeah.
Someone posted Special Beam Cannon in the Discord, and it looks a lot like that.
The difference between the tab targeting skills that we saw just previously and how this one works from a line effect standpoint.
Yeah, so we kind of split the difference between the different kinds of abilities that we have. We want to give people a lot of different opportunities to play the game the way they want to. So we have some abilities that are tab targets, some abilities that are dynamic, and then some abilities that are like purely action based. This is kind of falls into that latter category where this beam is going to go wherever you are pointing your camera. So you need to be on target. Otherwise, you could miss. It's not really related to the accuracy of your character's stats. It's more the accuracy of your mouse. So we want to make sure that you get opportunities to kind of, play that risk-reward game based on how you want to play the game.
Right. And is this effect an area of effect, or does it stop on impact and deals damage to that initial target and doesn't go past it?
Right now, I think it does both. As you scale it up, I think the first stage of it stops at whoever you
like
target,
that.
and then the final stage
It'll start piercing through.
So that's more about that.
That is cool.
Injecting additional skill points into individual skills to unlock additional features for it. So the initial one would stop
great. This is great.
Impact,
I'm loving that.
And then later stage would go through.
Yeah, I really like the crunch. You can either upgrade this ability, or you could use it to flavor or upgrade a different ability.
As we're moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, this is like the first iteration of this ability for the mage, so it's going to go through a lot of different changes.
Yeah. So if we're ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is going to be the level
We're definitely going to go over time, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to go over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Please go.
We don't even have the Q&A this time. We're still going to go over.
I think we did an hour and a half AMA.
Yeah, true. So our next one is our level up effect. Now,
I want to see this. This is exciting.
This is kind of a really important thing with, games, because I think they can be really iconic and memorable. So do note that this is still in stages, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I mean, one of the cool abilities that we all love seeing and gives us a major dopamine response is when our character levels up, especially when you're higher level. This is the first iteration on the level up effects. One of the things I loved, about when I leveled in Lineage 2 was it had this like God ray comes down over your character and expands, and little leaves, like little golden light leaves, fall out of the sky, and it's this cool event. So we wanted to try to hit that a little bit. There's going to be further iterations, but this is the first pass, and I really like the direction Jim's going.
Yeah, I just wanted to set expectations.
I can't not hear World of Warcraft's ding whenever I see this. That's how Pavlovian it is.
Really interesting ways. And I love what he's able to bring out in some of these effects. They're not just simple unicolor kind of things. There's
that's very true. I like the fog at the end, little rainbow fog that goes there at the end. I love that light effect.
Phoenix Wings for this. So.
I'm a big fan of it.
Phoenix
Agreed. Yeah, and it's supposed to take you a really long time to level, so they kind of want to make sure this feels really good.
Oh, that'd be cool. But yeah, we still are obviously going through that. There will be sound effects and things of that sort as well that will be hopefully iconic to you all. That is our goal. So when you level up, you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
I hope they do it like in
so without further ado, I
Elder
kind of
Scrolls
want to
style,
things before we move
where
into
it's
which
like
is going to be our 17-minute long video.
it has a certain amount of experience points to get to the next level, but that experience point doesn't fluctuate based on what level you are. It's not like you can hit 3 enemies and get to level 2, hit 8 enemies and get to level 3, hit 15 enemies get to level 4. You know what I mean? It's one. It doesn't scale up. I like to have a good distance between each level and have it be consistent the whole entire way up.
Days are just.
That's one thing that bothers me with World of Warcraft. Is that it starts scaling up so dramatically.
We wanted to show off 2 things. One,
it's really bad in
early
retail
stages of gathering, and
I hate
really
that.
the way it works,
because it's what makes the whole
the gathering
classic,
is
for instance, the 1 to 20
of
so
the
much better for me.
Tree. There's 3
because
primary branches:
you feel like
gathering,
you're making
processing,
you feel like you're making all this
crafting.
progress.
And those are meant
and then once
to
you get into your 20s and 30s, it's like it slows down so drastically.
Essentially, what we show today is kind
that
of
it almost like starts getting not fun anymore.
When it comes to accessing certain resources in the world as a gatherable, and gatherers will have the abilities to create their tools, but those tools will have only a certain number of usage before you need to recreate that tool. And essentially, as you become more proficient within the gathering branch of the artisanship tree, and your tool making becomes better, you begin to increase the amount of usages that are available. And then those the usages that are under the tool prerequisite will eventually come to the point where you'll have these master tool sets that'll grant you access to the highest possible gatherables in the world. And one other thing to note about gatherables is there's both a combination of, I guess there's 3 types of gatherables. There's the ones that a lot of us are used to, which is the single-use resource out in the world. You gather it, it goes away for a period of time, and then it comes back later. It randomly spawns elsewhere in the region. The second is going to be these large static veins that exist, which will attract lots of people, and they'll have a finite number of gathering that's possible until that vein is depleted.
I'm going to dust off my old econ textbooks just to get through this game.
Somewhere else in the world. And then the last type of gatherable is a mobile group gatherable kind of thing. So these are like herds of animals that might be out there in the world, and they may move a little bit. So it's like a moving resource, so to speak. Maybe exists on a spline and just kind of goes around the world. You're only going to see in this video the very basic type of gathering mechanic, which is that first type that you can gather. And then additionally, we did receive a lot of questions about the size of the world. And, one thing that I personally love about an MMO is having this grand, magnificent type of architecture that exists. So we ran you through one of the dungeons, but I did it with Margaret and Sarah. By the way, this is Margaret, Sarah, myself doing this little video. I did it at flying above the dungeon so that you can just get an understanding of the scope. I know you had seen likely this dungeon in previous 4K video, but it was on foot. So I really wanted to show off, being up in the air and just kind of seeing this grand size dungeon. And this is an early dungeon too. It's a level 10 dungeon.
Yeah, and we have shown this dungeon before, I believe. So you might have seen footage of some of it before, but are you ready to?
Yes, we're ready.
We're ready.
Play it.
All right.
See ya.
We'll see y'all in 17 minutes.
Oh my God, 17 minutes.
All right, now everybody now slide to the left.
See, I like this. I love it. This is one.
Take it back now, y'all.
We're recording, by the way.
What? Oh.
Yeah, no, that was good though.
I do like how the horses, they look kind of realistic.
Hey guys, we're here.
That's gotta get cleaned up.
Well, actually, we're not live.
Jump.
This is pre-recorded.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
But
we're live right now.
We're live yeah.
We're live. We're doing it all in one flow, I guess is the worst though.
Yeah, that's true. This is one flow. We're just gonna right now. You're on stream with us, and we wanted to pre-record this, kind of show off some of the.
I don't like how they animated at the exact same time.
I don't know. Take a look a little bit around the world.
I don't like that.
Those of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, this is our pre-alpha client. This is essentially the Alpha 1 client that's getting tested, and the bugs are getting worked out and whatnot. All right,
I'm gonna grab a quick drink before they really start. Be right back.
Go gather some things. Did you guys get tools and whatnot?
Yeah, I got some tools.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna walk. You guys can set your walk mode to.
I can see where it's gonna be really, really easy to just kind of miss these gathering nodes if that's all they look like in the game.
Oh no.
I don't think I can do it on my
horse.
Oh
yeah.
On the horse, it's not.
Sad. That's okay. We can run around.
The horse is really awesome though. We were having a lot of fun.
For sure.
Justin and I were like doing little dance moves.
I like it. But let's look for some some trees. Are there any trees around here? Do you guys see any trees that we can chop down?
I think there's one down over here.
So to give you guys an idea, out in the world, you're going to have.
All right, where are we now?
Oh, here we go.
They're just going around.
Raw resources.
Chopping trees.
Okay.
You see this little particle effect that's around their gatherables?
Yes.
I think that needs to be brighter because that's going to be hella easy to miss if you're on a horse just trying to trot by.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but
raw resources out
you don't want it to be too much, but I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be.
Good thing you're short. You fit right underneath it.
Yeah, I just was safely underneath the log.
You're going to essentially be able to harvest different raw resources out in the world based off of the tools that you have.
Oh, look at that boost, the speed boost he did.
Higher quality resources are going to require higher quality tools as well. It's also important to note that many of the raw gatherables out in the world have an opportunity to essentially
drop rare items,
grant you rare resources.
Nice. Like EverQuest 2. That's my favorite thing about EverQuest 2, dude. When you were gathering, you would get that little sound effect when you got a rare item.
Nice to have.
And so cool. It made gathering so much more enjoyable, dude.
Loved how they did
so much more enjoyable.
System. I thought it was very well done. So
you get aggro?
Let's kill this dude.
There's a kitty on me.
Oh no.
That's a cool looking kitty, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, their particles are definitely going to be.
There you go. We protected you.
I'm not sure if I like all the particle effects on, you know, all the attacks and all of this and all of that having particle
agree.
effects. I think there's a you don't want there to be too many particle effects. You know what I mean?
That because you want to be able to see what's happening. Like we saw that problem with Overwatch. But also, just from a mechanical standpoint, like we're supposed to be able to have like 250 v 250 combat, like 500 people, and having particle effects will destroy the server.
Well, I know, and that's going to be something that well, you can shut off the particle effect. No. You shouldn't have to shut off the particle effect. You know what I mean? Just keep them as a minimum, at a minimal, right? Everything doesn't have to have a particle effect.
Oh, there's 3 of them. Here, the tree will kill them. Oh, darn it.
And that's a lot of effects on the screen right now. There's so much going on effect-wise. I think it's too much. And again, it's pre-alpha. All these animations are not decided.
Oh yeah, everything.
You know what I mean? All of this is a lot of these are placeholder. A lot of these animations are placeholder.
And different passes. I personally think it looks great for pre-alpha, but it'll definitely get some love.
I like that lightning.
Trash mobs. I think we're all.
I do like the lightning.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Oh, we're in a party! Yay!
We're not in a party. I figured we should all be friends.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
So I can see your health and heal you.
Let's see if we can find any more. Or you know what? Actually, there's like a little dungeon here, isn't there? Where's the dungeon?
So something I've seen, which is interesting, I really like it, is okay. You can see the health, you can see the stats for your party members, but for PvP, you won't see any of that. You'll have a visual representation of how much stronger somebody is to you, so you know if you need a boogie out. But if you start a fight, you won't know how much health they have left outside of just a degrading bar.
Oh no.
An enchanted bear. This is really cool.
I like this idea. Projector to this.
The alpha is out. This is pre-alpha. This is
a lot of herbs and stuff over here.
This is a development live stream.
As you go out and gather, right?
Well, we're watching a recording right now, but they'll be back in a second. You know, that's what they're. This is what they gave us to watch, basically. This is part of the live stream.
Gatherables.
The alpha is not out yet, though. No.
Support a tiered structure as you process things upwards.
It's in pre-alpha right now,
and then you're going to have more rare ones, and these are all kind
hopefully
of like
soon, though.
one-off Gatherables.
Hopefully soon we'll be going into alpha
here, but there are large vein resources essentially, which have multiple applications of the gathering.
And I know that the graphics right now are just
a large mine of iron.
This is not 4K. This is not, you know what I mean?
People over time.
It's really
deplete it first, and then once it gets depleted,
it's really rough right now. And that's
I mean,
fine.
this will still melt most people's rigs. It's still not bad.
As far as the tools go.
No, it's not. No, I don't think it's bad. No, I mean for pre-alpha, this is pretty damn good.
So tools are going to exist in a similar fashion to the tiered resources that it's applicable towards. You can't really customize a particular tool, to look different. However, based off of the quality of your tool making, you're going to be able to have more uses out of these tools. Now, tools will have to be continually replaced as you are using the tools to gather resources. You'll have to replace them, obviously.
Are those different?
I do really like the. I like the UI though. It's informative, but it doesn't take up everything.
Maybe.
And they said they're not going to be really supporting mods, which I do like.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
It is not.
As long as this is what the UI looks like, I think I'll be fine with that too.
Weird.
I thought it was though.
Are you guys GMs?
Yep.
I think so. Yeah, because we
Yep.
leveled up and stuff.
That's super weird. That you guys can't fly. Maybe you don't have the royal status
we
on.
clipped our wings.
Oh, I don't think you guys have the royal status for some reason.
Rude.
That's weird.
Rude. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine.
You
I'm gonna
elitist.
fly through. You guys can.
This is elitist garbage.
Yeah, we'll see who can live.
Hit C, Maggie, hit C.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Z should
not
work.
right.
There you go. Okay, perfect. Toast must have made you a
Z and X
royal.
is up and down.
So just to kind of like give you guys an idea of the
And I love that their dungeons are open world, dude.
For the size, literally, of like the world around you. Right?
Yeah, that's actually an ongoing discussion is how they're going to scale them.
Dungeon. And this is one of the first,
like the bosses, because like they're going to be balanced for up to 40 people. But what's going to stop you from having like a second group of 40 come in just to fight the boss and make it trivial?
A lot of the corresponding like, points of interest and stuff, we want to reflect that size. In the environments that you're seeing, the dungeons that you're seeing.
EverQuest 2 does it.
You see here, it's pretty standard.
And they were really successful with it, so I don't see.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. Anything from us. And a lot of people are afraid of like sharding, but it is an option. We're phasing it out to just making it stronger to just locking you away from the area.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
But I think that defeats the purpose of something being open world, so I don't see that they would do it like that because it doesn't make sense.
When it comes to contested, how does
here we go.
Work exactly?
Well, essentially, like let's say you're in your guild and you're in your party and you roll up on, like let's say me and Jeff were in our little party and we see you and Sarah here with your group, and you have a room that has the best maybe farm rate or whatever.
You ain't winning it. Toast and I gonna keep it on lockdown.
We got this.
Well, what we would do is we'd roll up and we'd politely say,
I love that name, Toast.
Hey, how you doing? How long you guys? Whoops. I accidentally pulled up my NVIDIA thing. We would say, hey, you guys doing? How long are you going to be here for? And if you're just like, it's our room, you'll never have it, then we might have to throw down some fisticuffs and maybe declare like a guild war or flag on you or, something that might contest your ease of gameplay within that room. Yeah, that's pretty much how.
I mean, just looking at how big this dungeon is.
Those are some of my favorite.
I'm about to say it's taking them forever to get through it, and they're flying.
Yeah,
this is gonna be.
Where PvE is very.
I'm getting like flashbacks.
Gosh darn it.
Like PTSD flashbacks of Lower Blackrock.
Well, the difference is these dungeons aren't necessarily made for, okay guys, let's go do a dungeon run, yada yada. A lot of these dungeons, people go into these dungeons to farm the enemies because they respawn. They respawn just like enemies in the open world, right? So
yeah, I think it's going to be similar to some of those dungeons that are like, I know ESO has some instances, but they also have a lot of like just open world tight areas for a lot of enemy spawns.
For item drops and things of that sort.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
For like tagging mobs and stuff, there is a loot condition that's determined by DPS done. So if it comes down to like two groups that are trying to fight in the same area, it's really going to be an act of like seeing who's going to give the most damage output, I would say. Now, obviously, when you tag a creature,
that tags first, right?
Yeah, they get a little bonus, right? They get a little bit of bonus on that front, and that's for like the looting rights. The experience of a monster will be divided to the groups based off of their percentage of damage done. So if you do 50% of the damage, regardless of the looting rights, which is the tag component, regardless of the looting rights, the damage done will be equitable in percentage split of experience. So if it's 10,000 experience to kill a monster and you do 40% of the damage with your group will get 4,000 experience that's divisible by the group members. So yeah, just give you guys a little heads up. So hope you guys.
I'm just sitting here looking at the water and admiring how it reflects.
Oh, the lighting? Yeah, look at
that.
Let's see. By the razor.
Yeah.
This is like the alpha of the alpha, and it still looks great.
And the little water spot here.
I'm happy I'm updating my computer. I'm gonna need it, and it's still probably gonna smoke.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I just got a new computer.
Run up here and
I should be able to run this game on Ultra whenever it comes out.
The lava area. I love the lava stuff.
Yeah. You remember when the lava was gone?
Oh no. I'm gonna run past this dude in a sprint.
We had a bug where all the
Is there an energy bar
water or something
for sprinting?
It looks so weird.
Oh no, you ran into two more. And two more.
Through this dungeon, run back. Just to give you guys the ground view of the size, that's here in these dungeons. What are some of the favorite dungeons you guys have ever played in when you played in your MMOs?
There's too many.
I really like.
I'll go for it.
I like the Karazhan series and WoW. Just
Karazhan was a lot of fun.
Karazhan, just because there's such weird layouts and funky things where you drop
yeah.
through portals and sizes change.
Yeah.
I think my most
Return
memorable
to that was the
probably
Legion version of it, and
like
it's
Ashen
so
Fall and
good.
EverQuest, because it's so dangerous to get into the good farming spots, so it takes a while to get in there, and like you have to like buff up and all this stuff, and then once you get in
Yeah,
there,
see, these dungeons, like the further you go, and that's why I said they're not necessarily always meant to run the whole entire dungeon. It's one of those things where you can run through a lot of the dungeon and despawn a lot of the enemies, right? They'll go back. It's not like they're going to, they're not going to follow you all throughout the dungeon.
Alpha
It's not
bugs.
like that.
I love.
Oh yeah,
I love
bugs,
alpha
yeah.
bugs. They're so good.
Yeah.
Probably I would say Antheris' lair in Lineage 2. The heart area. I had some long grinding sessions in that area.
Yeah, they're gonna lose interest.
Game. And
so you can actually just mount through the dungeon and get to where you want to be, to your whatever farm spot that you're looking to get to.
Did they say that you can mount indoors, or is this just because they're GMs and cheating?
Kind of gave me a lot of similar vibes. To,
okay, that's actually a good point.
EQ.
I don't know.
Well.
More cowbell. What's up, man?
Another fun one that I used to enjoy in Lineage was the Four Sepulchres. But if you were like a hero, you could port down into the Four Sepulchre area, so you didn't have to like go through the like hour-long run it took to get there. And I definitely enjoyed. I was a little bit of a griefer because I would go down there and we would always be at war with this one guild, and I would oh, you're gonna die. And I would try to attack their team as one person versus like 7 of them. So I would just like jump in and
Toast got me. I'm just pulling one.
No.
Oh, you leashed it back.
Steven's a bird.
I'm a furred. Oh yeah. I don't know about. Look at how many bears there are here.
Yeah, but that's why I kited only one out to us.
Oh, there's a lot of bears there. Let me see if we can run in this area.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is another thing.
Oh, see, okay, so this is not a GM thing, because he said, look, let me see if we can run in this area.
Bosses, having them get...
I don't know if it was because of that or just because of the portal.
I love that too, and like playing with the environmental hazards.
Because these might be like the instance boss area.
Yeah, I like that. That reminds me, I didn't really think DDO had dungeons where it was like this, you know, epic thing where you had to like crawl through it and hold
yeah, it looked like it was too hot to even go in there.
Some really interesting
playing Final Fantasy 14 right now? Right on.
Mechanics as far as like traps and stuff like that I think.
Oh, I've seen this part in other videos. This is one of the boss fight areas. The big fire dragon.
Maggie, do you love jumping
that was in a different dungeon.
You know I hate jumping puzzles. I'm so...
Because that place, it got to that spot pretty quickly.
You sure? Because this looks a lot like it. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, you got to be dismounted. Oh, there he is.
Oh, this one looks
there
different.
It is. Yeah.
It's waiting for us to go through, I think.
The alpha chicken wing dragon.
All right, we're gonna see you back on stream. Hope you guys enjoyed a little look inside the game right now. I know it's been a while since we showed some footage, about a month, but little talk on Gathering. We'll talk a little bit more on stream, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. All right, now everybody, now slide.
Everybody now slide. I remember that.
All right. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. We'll have it kind of playing in the background here while we chat a bit. I grabbed a bunch of questions from chat. There's one person in particular, you're spamming. I'm still going to ask your question, but no need to spam. I was snagging all the questions for y'all. The first thing I do want to preface is, for those of you who are new, because I saw some people commenting about flying is not going to be...
Yeah, thank you.
We're not all just going to be able to fly. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit more about that.
I don't even want flying mounts in the game at all. You know what I mean? I don't like the idea of having like an elitist thing attached to flying.
So
one of their videos said that flying mounts
very, very restricted. It's a very powerful, obviously, achievement. But it's restricted to the leaders of guilds that own one of the 5 castles in the world, as well as the mayors of metropolis stage nodes, which there can only ever be 5 at a time. And then there are rare drops that occur from legendary world bosses that are essentially eggs that players, there's a lifetime on that egg and then a lifetime on the mount.
I know this feels.
Yeah.
and
then,
sorry, it's a terrible joke.
And then there's essentially you can raise that up to increase the lifetime per se, but it's limited. So there really will only ever be maybe at a time, between 10 to 15 players that are going to have access to flying mounts, but they will be significant mounts. They'll have abilities that are very strong. All mounts will have certain types of abilities, and the royal mounts will have the most effective abilities, especially when it comes to PvP or AoE type effects.
And you won't be able to run through like we did. We obviously have like GM hacks and stuff like that, but you shouldn't be able to like just run through the entire dungeon and skip everything necessarily.
Yeah, that wasn't a legit dungeon experience. It was more just showing you guys what's going on in the dungeon.
So excited
Also, Steven,
to watch
you just
someone
left me
power
there
trip.
when I like pulled just that one mob for you
I know.
perfectly. I peeled perfectly.
Oh yeah, I wasn't about the lava bear life.
No, they
with
hit
only
hard.
2 people.
It's a
I'll
tough
put some GM armor on.
You could tell that Steven's used to being the mage because I'm used to being the tank, so I'm used to like pulling like little mobs like that all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I do have a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to go into those first, or if you'd rather just kind of like talk about crafting, because I do want to talk about harvesting and gatherables and crafting a little bit. I know you talked about it as a like contextual, but maybe going into more depth. I don't know which one you want to do first, questions or
we can do some questions. Just keep in mind that obviously as we test, some of these systems are going to get iterated on. And then additionally, I know we're going to release a blog later on that goes into some significant detail. So it might be smart to save some of the really detail-oriented questions for the blog when that comes out. But yeah, we can do some questions.
All right, let me grab these questions and then we can talk about other stuff that's not covered here.
Do it.
So
I like questions.
Pickadulive, Oliver. I don't know. I'm probably gonna say all your names wrong, so sorry.
Pick a liver.
Say I don't harvest or gather for a couple of levels. Would I then fall back or fall behind in skill and not be able? Oh, stop! I can't read because your name keeps covering stuff.
Sorry.
And not be able to gather certain resources in a higher level area.
Yeah, so the advancement and progression that exists within the artisanship path does not correlate to that of your adventuring class. So you could choose not to touch gathering at all until you max your adventuring class level out, and then you can go back, and that's going to be completely removed from those two things. You can go back and you can start gathering the lower end tier type gatherables and start building up that start building up that branch of the artisanship tree. And as you build it up, you begin to get access to certain professions that you can then start essentially utilizing to get additional experience there, which unlocks more capabilities.
Yeah, also keep in mind that the way that we're designing these zones is it's not a progressive, like, this is a level 10 zone, this is a level 20 zone.
Yeah. That's important. People need to know this.
The game is designed. Every level will represent and have some content for just about any level person. And that goes with resources too, right? Resources are going to be available in places where they make sense, not necessarily based on, we're going to put all the iron in the level 10 zone and all the mithril in the level 20 zone. That's not how it's going to be functioning. It'll be more
regionalized.
sort of realistic, regionalized, and a little bit more... it'll be less gamey and more natural, I guess, more organic.
Right. And the idea there is to essentially provide kind of system generated stresses based off of those placements so that regions and localities have to essentially utilize the trade systems and the caravan systems to move goods around so that players have access to their local warehouses for the materials
if your dwarves in the mountains
in order to
want
either
to trade for
process them
wood
or use them in crafting stations that come online as nodes advance. So there's a significant importance on the location of these goods and how they relate to the location of the crafting centers as well.
Yeah, the economy is super important to us. We want sort of a living economy, which means that there is a sense of supply and demand, right? Some regions will have a lot of a certain type of resource and they won't have other types of resource. And it will be up to players to sort of take advantage of those different supply and demand curves and try to maximize the amount of money they can make from it.
Yeah, we could probably take one more question, Margaret, just because I know we have a lot of art stuff to show as well, and we're already at the hour mark, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh,
True,
wow,
true.
they
I
are.
did pull like 20 questions, so that's probably why they can see how many questions. Okay, so I'll just ask this one because it actually pertains to what you're just talking about, which was selling stuff.
That sucks.
Spectron7X asked about player sales and auctions. Will there be any way for players to search for items before they travel to a specific node, or will players be restricted to shouting advertisements in node towns? My perspective comes from Star Wars Galaxies and EVE Online. Both games had mechanisms for discovering that an item is sold at a location prior to traveling there, so you don't waste your time, kind of.
Sure. So, real quick on that front, there's a lot of components to that question.
Okay.
It touches a lot of different things. But on the auction house front, economic nodes will have access to auction house that are local to those nodes. And as a node progresses and begins to vassal other nodes, if the parent node is economic, it will have the ability to connect with those vassal nodes that are under its zone of influence, and it will be able to share the auction house in that regard, especially at the Metropolis stage. Additionally, from a player stall or shop standpoint, if you're in an economic node, there will be certificates that you can purchase from the economic node main building that will provide the license, essentially the business license, to sit down and put up a player owned shop wherever you're at in the world. But you have to have the license that you purchase from the economic nodes. And then additionally, each node has the availability to either build a market, or economic nodes are by default have player owned stalls or rented stalls. Sorry. These stalls, you can put in either services for recipes that you have access to that players can come and interface with and utilize, and you can charge a fee for it, or you can list items for sale within the stall. Now, all of those stalls and the auction house's listings are capable of being observed so that you know where to go to get certain things on a community board, essentially, where you can access the town center's community board, and it will show you the location and items that you can search through, and then you'll have to travel to that location if you don't have access to either an integrated auction house hub or the stalls not present in that location.
I thought EVE Online was going to be complex. This is going to be like EVE Online on medieval steroids.
They're definitely going for a realism. So they're, you know what I mean. They're not trying to make everything, you know, which I like. You know, I don't think every game needs to be a gimme, you know? Every game doesn't.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance between the two, and you can see that I think they're hitting it right, where you, like, sometimes a game just needs to be the game, but I do like what they're doing. Like,
share that information with you all.
Like with this.
So with that, we know we have a lot of questions.
I think it is important for them to find that balance. So
we do a Q&A segment
you just say
on
that?
our live stream.
We do.
Obviously, this time we're not because we've been doing AMA for a really long time. If you want to check that out, it's on
they are all children.
youtube.com/Ashes of Creation. But we will be doing another Q&A for our next one, so stay tuned for that.
Okay,
and
good.
We'll let you guys know in advance. We usually announce that like a week in advance before our live stream, so you have time to plug in your question. And then
big fan of Q&As.
Who's amazing, our lovely community manager, she'll put together the ones that have already been answered and answer those for you, and the ones that haven't we'll put into our live stream for that. So stay tuned for that. So without further ado, we're going to move on to environment art. The first thing we have here is the wonderful particle.
See, I like this.
Another wonderful thing from Jim. We have shown some of the waterfalls in the past, but I'll let Steven kind of talk a little bit about this. They're so pretty.
Yeah, I think just part of the process that goes into iteration over the art assets that enter the game. You know, we had some old waterfalls that didn't necessarily live up to snuff and how the world was progressing. So Jim took a pass on those, and as you can see, you know, not only do the effects look great, but the updated water shader also, you know, is starting to look really good. These will continue to go through iterations as we get closer to launch. But as you can see already in this pre-alpha state, you know, I think this looks great. They look very natural. They look very immersive in the world, and
it's also great because they're way more performant than the old ones were, like way more, and they look about as much better, which is great.
Yes, it's always great when you gain on the performance side and on the video
I can already
side.
see the 10-hour loop on YouTube. Case, Ashes of Creation, waterfall sounds,
wonderful.
Relaxing ambience.
Dude, those are easy to sleep to, dude. I'm not even lying.
Our next one is going to be the Seaside environment assets that Mia made.
I love the
They're so pretty.
I love when I do the stream, because I never have time to review the assets prior, and so this is all just like, oh, okay, yes.
You probably see it when you're running around in the world, but like you don't realize like all the
Yeah, Mia is a wonderful artist. She is so talented and experienced, and I mean, you can just see the detail and, you know, the tender love and care that goes into creating these environment assets. You know, really to make the world look like a beautiful place. I mean, it's immersion such an important component in our gameplay experience, and part of that immersive quality comes down to the sheer talent that goes into our amazing artists creating this world. So yeah, these look, I love these.
Yes,
great.
Devin, very
the
true,
next
but they
set
are not
of assets we have here
ashes
are the junior
waterfalls,
node
are they?
buildings that Ricky made.
Yeah, Ricky Ho, one of our concept artists, as
Is this
he
a
begins to
dwarven
kind
area?
of
What is this?
diversify the selection of architecture for the Dunir race and all the the
Okay.
other races, working with our talented concept team. You know, they provide these production ready concept pieces in order for the production artists, the 3D modelers on the environment side, to really stick to this architectural design in creating these assets. So part of Alpha 1, excuse me, part of Alpha 1 and moving forward into the different testing phases, because the nodes adopt the predominant culture that gave the node experience to advance, it renders the appropriate culture to represent the race that helped establish that node. So we start fleshing out additional buildings. You know, these are constructed in a modular fashion, so that they can be mixed and matched to some degree,
the races
to
of the
help
people
not only speed up the production
work
time,
to level up the zone,
but also provide
whatever is
Devin,
built
one of our
there,
environment artists,
will take
created a great
on
building tool that you may see a
the
dev diary on our
architecture
YouTube
of
page,
the
where essentially
races
you
that
can go through
contributed
these modular
most
sets
to the
and start
development
just
of that
pumping out a
node.
lot of different
A
buildings, and the
huge fan of
concepts
this.
here
It's
help to
just
guide
a
those
smart
idea.
necessities.
You know?
I hope that in like
gonna go
it doesn't have to happen at launch, but in
Yeah, that's
future
the idea.
iterations of the
Yeah,
game,
but as
like
you can see,
next
these are
expansion,
mostly what it
they
looks
make it
like,
where if two
village
races or
stage,
multiple races are right on
building
top of each
variants
other,
that exist within the Dunir,
you're
the Dunir
it'll mix
culture.
it. So if you have like
the Dunir
5
being a
different
more
races that have all been
traditional type
working
of a
really
dwarven
hard and
race
they're all
that you
like
might
right on
expect from
top of
medieval
each other,
fantasy
you can
games.
get like a melting pot type city.
And,
I think that'd be really cool to
you
see
know,
in
it's
the
always
far
interesting
future.
that these usually dwarves are portrayed inside of a mountain, but here you're going to see literal settlements that are out in the grasslands,
I
or
think
out
something
in
like
the
that's just a
tundra,
bit
or
hard to
wherever
do.
they might be in whatever biome. And
Oh yeah,
that's
why I
going
said
to
I'd
present a
would
really
not be a
cool,
launch thing. This would
really
be a
cool and
implemented
unique
in an
presentation
expansion type
for a
thing.
more traditional type mountain dwelling race.
I almost
Yeah,
timed
they're
it
just-
perfectly with your mountain,
pretty
with
good.
your grassland and your tundra.
Oh, some things just don't go with each other. If they're gonna do it
Go for
right
it,
and make
Oh, I
the
was just gonna
styles
say, the dwarves
very
haven't had enough
different
time
from
to
each other,
excavate the
it's just not
mountains
gonna
yet
look
when they
good.
arrive, so.
I love
Right,
this style, though. I'll tell you that. I love this
I
style.
haven't cleared out the the dark, corrupt denizens.
Oh yeah, because you can
that
easily
may
tell it's
exist
dwarf, but it's
in the
not.
Now we get to move
It's
on
not
to the
Iron
character art
Forge,
team,
you know?
who
No.
submitted a lot of great stuff. So we're gonna switch on over to that. First and foremost, we have some swimming. I know a lot of folks have asked about swimming, so I'll let Steven talk over this.
Yeah, swimming does look like
Yeah,
ass
so
so
I
far
mean,
in the
as you
game.
guys know, there's a lot of water content that's planned. You didn't see there
Such
in
a
the
huge fan of
transition
that.
from the
I
above
love water
camera shader
content.
to the below camera shader any type of screen effect that will be applied later, like, you know, water kind of drying up or something. But as you can see, you know, this is some fundamental swimming. You will be able to utilize your abilities while in the water. There is going to be naval content that will require, you know, large groups of people participating in water combat, as well as ship to ship type combat. So we're now just starting to flesh out essentially the buoyancy and physics of the ocean, as well as giving the character animation blueprint the ability to transition from a land state to a water state that utilizes these animations, which our animation team has taken a first pass on. I think they're doing good. Looks good.
Yeah, and like we said, this is early pass, so bear with us. It's, you know, these aren't this isn't final or anything like that, and we will have some other adjustments to it as well. But if you have suggestions and stuff like that, you're always welcome to head on over to our forums. We love reading all of that. Toast is amazing and puts together reports every month for the dev team, so that is the best place. If you have feedback or suggestions,
I will say I do like the way this character moves a lot more than the other ones that I've seen. Like right when I saw that, I was like, oh,
if you're PMing people, it's really hard
this
for us
guy
to grab
looks, he's
PMs
moving
from all
differently
Steven,
than
right?
me. He
Like,
was
we're not
moving a
gonna
lot
make
more.
notes on that. That's not
You know what I
happening.
mean?
So, but
He
if you put it on
didn't
the
look
forums,
robotic like the
we
way
are
he was
able
running.
to grab, we're able to
Yeah,
grab
and
that
I'm
data
hoping that like
easily
if he
send it
puts
over to
away
you
his
at
sword,
the
his
time.
arms
I'm
kind of
just
go back
prefacing
in a
it.
little bit.
No,
Because
it's good,
that's that thing
because
that
over
bugs
the
me.
past
I
2
pointed it out in
weeks
your
since
stream with
I did,
ESO.
those 3 interviews. I think
Yeah.
I've had like
armpits are slightly
9,000
open, like
LinkedIn
his arms are
views
slightly
and
open.
probably
Yeah, I see what you're
about
saying.
1,000 LinkedIn messages and
Oh, and I
probably
like
like
how he kind of
3,000
straight to the
Discord
right,
DMs.
right there. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
I get
It's
like
more
3,000 a
realistic.
day
I
on
just-
Discord.
I
It's
would,
nuts.
I would just like to preface that I try my best to read the DMs as much as I can. I definitely read the forums and the content creation that happens in the Reddit. That's a little bit easier to get to for me. Right now, my phone actually crashes if I try to access my DMs on Discord. So I can't do that, but I can do it from the desktop.
But we do put together reports for Steven and the design team and whatnot. So definitely that's
Yes.
the best way is the forums. If you have questions, we have a questions channel in our Discord. That's a fantastic place to go. Beyond that, Toast and
I know
try
the
our best to
focus
go
is
through
on
all of
the
messages
character, but,
and
like,
Violet as well. Like we
this
try our
water
best
looks
to
great.
Go through all of those things.
look
and
at
all
his
of our
waves.
social media, but the best way to provide feedback is over on the forums.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have a CS problem,
I
the
wish
best
that there
place
was
is for you to take it.
more. I think it'd be cool if they add like
without that, we're gonna
underwater
go on to the next one. You all
underwater
have really loved
vegetation
our lovely goblin friend,
that
and now
gives
we have
off
one of the
natural
variants
light
completed so you can
under
see
the
what
water. You
textures.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see because they definitely need to brighten a little
Okay, I
bit.
love the way these goblins look.
This is one of the NPC monsters that represents one of the tribes of the goblin race in the world as a adversary.
I like it a lot.
He is definitely on the green side.
People have been asking for him they're like goblin playable race. I'm like, not currently planned.
Not wow, dude.
I'm never gonna say never, but not
Well,
currently.
No,
We already
I
have
will
9.
say never, please. Say never.
Technically, through the monster coin system, there are potentially events that will occur where you may have multiple of these NPCs grouping up to kind of disable services at a node and will require the response of the citizens. And if you have a monster coin available, you could play as a goblin for a short period of time or some other type of monster. And the more you play and become successful during those events and helping to kind of disable the nodes that exist, not destroy them, you will be able to get unique cosmetics as a participation achievement in those monster coin systems. So that's something that's interesting.
Good call, Steven.
Yeah, like, you're not wrong. Yeah, I was like, actually, I didn't think about the monster coin system.
Yeah, like maybe you can get his loincloth and then you just wear the loincloth on your character and it's a goblin loincloth. You know what I mean?
That'd be great. So our next one here is actually robes. Speaking of clothing, we're going to show the Kalar robes here. We'll start with the starter one and then like a level up.
I don't know if I love or hate the fact that every single slide brings out like 3 new systems.
Yep, it's just the grayscale version.
There's
Oh,
so
okay, got
much.
Yeah, that's all this is. We'll show
Yeah,
textures
so-
probably next month or something.
So this is one of one of the very early kind of is this an NPC or is this character armor?
I think this
is
might
an
be
NPC.
NPC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like NPC to me.
So this, I was gonna say I don't see the cuts. I was like, that's interesting. Yeah, this would be, as we construct different armor sets for NPCs to mix and match with, you're going to see more of this, more of these NPC clothing and armor that comes online. This one looks like a character.
Dude, I love
one
this
looks like
clothing.
character.
I
can see
love
the
this
pieces
outfit.
on the arm and the coat and stuff.
Yeah, this is the level up of it. So maybe they're both players.
Yeah, I guess
I like that
that's-
it looks like
yeah,
it's just
level one. Okay,
3D,
so this
not
is
just painted
progressive.
on. That's
So
that kills me
essentially,
with WoW.
we're showing kind of
Yeah,
how
yeah.
these character armors are constructed. They gradually increase in silhouette size, not because your armor is going to progress per se in the game, but on a production side in the game, in the development of the game, we use base pieces to help level up these armors and grow the silhouette so that they become appropriate pieces that can be utilized in higher tier armor sets that the players can achieve. And then they get diversified through the materials and the textures and the colors and the thematic components that can be applied as attachments. These essentially get diversified.
All right. And then our next one here is the Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see what this is. Let's see what this is.
So this is a cosmetic.
that
Now,
looks
this
cool.
is the final model. This is the finished model.
This is
Yep,
not
this is
the concept art.
This is not concept. So this gauntlet here was a cosmetic. When was this cosmetic? Was it a long time ago?
I could look, but I'd have to. Oh, actually, I can look right now. I don't have to be on VPN for it.
Well, yeah, long time ago. Basically, your armor exists in I believe it's an eight piece set that you can individually apply cosmetic appearances towards. So you would have a glove armor piece that you would then apply this what's it called, the gauntlet of
Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
Spellbreaker's Gauntlet. So you can apply this cosmetic appearance to the gauntlet. Now, this in the game, this portrays a little 3D effects above the gauntlet that will be rotating, and it might actually glow and brighten as you cast an ability or an ability effect occurs. Right? It might call the glow to animate and move.
That's really cool.
But this is the in-game model of that Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
My cat has interrupted. The chat's probably moving.
It's pretty great when we can just see the tail.
It would be the July 2018 to August 2018. Thank you,
Oh, there you go.
Violet Lights,
2
for
years
sending
ago.
that my way. You are
Oh my
lovely.
god, where's the time gone? I feel like my life is flying by.
I know, it's crazy.
Dang, yeah.
It's just
That's game design.
one large game design. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a really
I
cool
remember
gauntlet. I like
living
that. I'm still not sure about how I feel about limited time gear that they're doing right now through their cash shop. Like even now,
So
they're
the next
having
ones we
gear
have
that you can
are,
buy in the
all
game
of the creature,
for
stuff.
when
So
it
this
comes
is a lot
out.
of the creature
And
animation.
it's all limited
Yeah.
gear. You'll
the
never
first
be able
one
to
is
get it
gonna be
again.
Actually, the troll.
You know what I mean?
I think I'd be
People that
okay with a
spend-
limited if it was like up to launch, and then
as you're
some
looking at
like
this, don't
big
look at the
game
other things, look
events
at
in the game,
specifically
but make it
particle effects
rare.
on the
I
attack.
don't necessarily like limited cash shop items though.
Yeah, all of their cash shop items are limited
Okay, yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah, so this is just some pretty simple effects on the
Like you'll
attack
never, if you
animations
didn't
that you're
pre-do
seeing, which,
that gauntlet, you'll
you know,
never be able to get it.
give it a little
Unfortunately.
bit more,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is really,
a little bit more
really,
oomph
really
as you
unfortunate.
see
Like I
different
don't like
creatures'
that at all.
attacks occur.
I'd say at the bare
before,
minimum,
we
give
were
us a
using kind of
recolor.
I like the way this troll looks.
generic sort of particle
For sure.
events for impacts and stuff. And this is sort of integrating some of those
I like his horns.
to the actual animation of the creatures that are using it. So it's a little bit more couture. It gives kind of it reduces the amount of sort of
You know what, dude?
genericness to
Look
the
how he's
NPCs and
bouncing. Look how he
like
bounces
they
when he
use the
moves. You
word
know what I mean? Like he doesn't look stiff. If they can do this with these characters, they can do this with their freaking normal characters. Look at that. When he swings, he like bounces. Look at his legs, how they like. You know what I mean? That looks really
Yeah,
good.
that's what I'm saying. I don't
all right,
think
next we have
I don't think this will be a
our
repeat
War
of
Beast
ESO.
animation.
I just think that you know what I
Showed a
think it
little
is.
bit
Is
of
I
the
don't think
War
that they've
Beast
just
before and people lost
gotten
their minds,
a
so,
chance to work on
enjoy
their
this
character
now.
animations. I think they just haven't even started it yet, which is fine.
This is like the
Which is
War Beast
totally
a
fine.
Gen Z creation. She's
Like even this guy
Hi, Gen Z.
moves
Someday I'll get
like
you
what
on
you would
stream.
expect.
Yay.
I think it's so huge.
It's massive, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
we don't
good,
have a
I like
scale
it.
next to it, but
Yeah.
this dude's pretty big.
Like elephant size was it, right? Was the goal? Or maybe a little
Maybe a
bit
little bit
smaller.
less.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit smaller than an elephant, but there's a variant of him
But
that's
it's still freaking big.
gargantuan and carries one of the
Gargantuan.
siege. Carries one of the siege.
I would run
weapons.
away if it was running
The
after me.
first one that Jincy made, Steven was like, "That is huge."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how pretty he is. He's
Oh,
so
look, he has. a
God, it
little
looks
scene.
cool as shit
yeah.
though, dude. And I
got
wonder
very
if it's
excited about
raining.
showcasing
Like,
it.
are you gonna be? I wonder if
Thank
you're gonna
you,
be able to
Tristan.
see the moisture on you like you can in Black Desert Online.
Can you just imagine
Oh,
being in the game
so
and
amazing.
you just hear this like thundering movement over like a hill and you
Look at
just
that
turn
lighting.
That
Look how
thing comes
dark
at
it is
you.
around it. I
I
hope the
love
game is
stuff
like
like
that.
that.
And just like
You
this
know,
dude
like
just
in Black
charging
Desert
you, and
again,
just
Black
like,
Desert Online
huh.
was like that, dude. In the beginning, where you had to walk
run
around with the
right
torch if you
up.
wanted to say shit, it was so
Kevin
cool.
was
They got rid of
DMing,
that.
and there was
They
a
got rid of all
herd
that.
I don't think you need to go full torch, but I definitely want it
level
darker.
two.
And one of our
I
people
do.
had been trampled, so
It's
we tried
realistic.
to like help him, and
It's
then they trampled
realistic.
us and killed the entire
You
party.
know,
I don't think it was a bison. I think it was something
by bison.
else.
Yeah,
I'm all
TPK
about
by
realism,
bison.
dude.
It was a big
All about
creature,
realism.
though. At least the one that I was part of. We had a similar situation like that. And McP was also the one DMing.
He loves
Not
killing people with
surprised.
herds.
Yeah. The next one is going to be our ram. So you saw this.
Oh, that's cool
last
looking.
Week.
I like the
You saw
mane.
the
I haven't seen
ram
the fur
hauler.
on this guy. It looks so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they're
horns are
definitely
really cool.
refining their fur and hair cards.
It's like that
Yeah,
scraggly
this
goat hair, you know?
live stream went made me feel so much better about the stiffness
this
of
looks
characters
great.
like a million times.
I think this was
I feel
Carson
so much
that
more
did
comfortable.
This
Yeah.
little dude.
This is fantastic. I mean, look how he moves. It's exactly how I would expect for a ram to move.
No. Sorry. He did
Okay, and then
model.
there's a
I'm not
trotting.
sure who did these animations. That might be Myers, I believe.
It's
They have so
amazing.
many little things,
There it
like
is.
the
Oh,
ears
it's
just
amazing.
twitching when it's idle.
Caravan.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, so this is a Dunier influenced caravan. You can see by the bulkiness and the armor plating on the spokes and the wheels. And this is in game. The different types of caravans that you can own essentially as you commission them will take the appearance of the cosmetic you have applied.
And then our next one.
So we're gonna be talking
is
a little
gonna
bit
be
about
our
this
lovely
live stream
spider.
after it's over, guys. We're discussing.
First,
you know.
this is the turntable with the spider, so
Discussing
you
it,
can see
so.
the entire model of it.
So this is an enemy NPC that's going to be, obviously arachnids are a fan favorite when it comes to fantasy games, this is one of the initial spider creatures that are used.
Okay, I like this one. I like this one really bad, and this one. Wow, I like this too.
They're
Thank
going
you,
to
Jinsey,
have.
for making the translucent one. That was like, I was like, please.
Yes,
She's
that
like,
one's
"I'll
so
try."
cool.
Yeah, so these are just some examples of the different spiderlings, and they'll vary in size as well. You have some that are very large, up to the head height of a character, and some that are smaller, maybe to the kneecaps.
I know for a fact that dropped out of a
shaking
tree in
knees,
front of
that
you in the
little spider
dark,
will
you'd
be
scream like a
probably,
girl.
but,
I would,
yeah, these
which
look
is
good.
why I
like
can't
these.
wait,
Yeah,
dude.
they're awesome.
Like I'm so
I like their
excited
little
to
hair
experience
pieces.
that,
And obviously all
man.
different types of
Like, how
spiders
can you
too, like
not
not
be
just
excited
the
about this
ones.
game? Is just beyond me. Like, look how they move. Look how they
all the people
jump.
who are afraid of
They
spiders
don't.
are probably
They don't
horrified right
land
now.
on all of their 8 legs,
it's
however
good
many
to
legs
face
they
your
have at the
fears.
same
MMOs help
time.
in that
They
regard.
landed on their
Makes you
front
stronger.
ones first, and then the back. Did you guys notice that? Hopefully, they do it again. I like this part.
Mandible wiggles.
Well, he's hungry.
So
He hasn't probably eaten in a while.
I like how like his different tootsies are
That's so creepy.
twitching.
Nope. I'm running.
Dude,
Oh
it's
my
big,
God,
look
look
at
at
that!
its
Oh my
mouth.
god, I can't wait!
It has teeth. Why does it have teeth?
It's got teethers. It's got teethers.
Well, I thought it's just supposed to have mandibles. It has teeth.
Oh,
too.
imagine
Oh,
it spitting
this
out
is
like
so
acid
amazing.
and stuff too.
Oh no! Don't go towards
Yes!
Oh. There you go. There's a little.
Oh, you gonna get the other one too?
The mobs are
One's not enough?
completely done. They're just showing you attack animations.
Yeah.
Mine still has AI stuff to do with it. As I'm sure Jeff is looking at it being like,
Could you imagine if you had a small mesh where you couldn't see the spider and it was like one of those funnel spiders on the beach, and as you're walking past, just like it erupts out of the ground and attacks you?
Oh man,
Having
that'd
those
be
randomly
so cool.
placed throughout the world, not so much like in a hunting ground where you know.
See, I like
but
how
like
he's
just
thinking,
random
dude.
spawners of funnel spiders that pop out of the ground and
like
just
you
scare
walk
the
over it and you don't even know that there's a spider underneath you because it's like flat on the ground. Oh my gosh.
That would
And the
be
sound
great.
mix on it is
Oh,
totally off.
man.
So it's
Oh yeah,
Scary.
the sound
loud
mix is
compared-
super loud. Yes, and you just hear the clapping of the mandibles and the teeth. That'd be great. It'd be cool if we
Right.
could integrate that with like future.
See, it's funny because what I like about this guy
that have,
is he
like,
does a lot of
tactile.
It would be
response,
cool if
and
shit.
when that
You know what I
event,
mean? He's
yeah,
like,
when that event
you
occurs,
know,
the
wouldn't it be
seat
cool if we
touches
could
you,
do
you know what I
this?
mean?
And then when he says that, you know,
Fantastic.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like thinking like,
It would definitely be
let's put this in the game. And the thing that's so great about it is he's ahead of the game.
We need
He's
to
like
add that
the
to our scope
developer.
group, by the
He's
way,
like the man.
creation of
And it's
tactile
all of
seats that
his
integrate
personal
with,
money that he's putting
calls
in
in
to
the
create
game
this
for
game.
us.
So if he
Is that
says,
gonna
hey
go with our
guys,
VR
I decided this is what I want in the game, well, that's just the way it's going to be.
Oh no.
You know, and it's their job to
I
make
think
his
you made
vision a
good point
reality.
About, like, feature creep and stuff because I have
That's
seen a
why
lot
I
of
think
comments
a
regarding
project
that,
like this is
and
being
we're
successful
obviously gonna wrap up
because
the show
everybody's
today.
marching to the beat of one
But
person's drum.
We are
I
always
love that.
really conscious of our production line.
Love
Our
it.
producers are
Oh, yeah.
amazing and in making sure that we stick to our schedule. Obviously, we're kind of a little bit ahead schedule in some aspects because everyone's working from home and really focused. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff that we want to put into the game. Doesn't mean everything's going to make it at every milestone. Doesn't mean everything's going to make it at launch. So just keep that in mind. But we'll set the expectations with the content that we put out on our news site. We'll always let you guys know what is going to be coming up. Stay tuned for that. We have a lot of articles for Alpha 1 coming out that will talk about each of the classes, because I know classes and combat are one of the major things you all want to hear about. As Jeff and his design team finalize each of the classes that are going to be in Alpha, I believe there's going to be 6 of them, correct, for Alpha?
Pretty sure there's most likely donations of a GoFundMe or something. He's not randomly a millionaire blowing all his money. No. This game was completely funded by him before the Kickstarter
so kind of what kind of
was created.
For each of
the game was already funded to completion by him. He put in millions of his own dollars, of his own money to fund it.
So without further ado, I will wrap up the show unless you guys have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to reiterate. I know that
the GoFundMe is for like all the extra stuff that they decided to add.
A lot of new eyes are on the project
because
and again,
of the success of the game.
Thank everybody for their support in lending to this discussion
and for continued development of it. I mean, let's be honest.
What makes MMORPGs great. We cannot thank you guys enough for coming and joining on the Discord, subscribing to social media on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook.
I want that 10K Insta so I can have the swipe up. I need the swipe up mechanic.
So with that being said, however, I do want to make sure we temper that hype by letting you know this is a process. Our goal is to create a quality product that has a good launch. And that means making sure that we take our time to ensure the quality of that product, that it makes you guys proud, it makes us proud. So there is still a long road obviously ahead, but the great thing about a transparent development is you get to watch us all along that way. And I know it's difficult to see the game and hear the philosophies and the ideas and just not be overcome with complete grief that you can't play right now. But I've always said that, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. So having that patience and keeping with us along this development period, we all appreciate that at the studios. It is a significant motivator for our developers to just see the sheer love coming from our community. So we appreciate that so much, and we love you guys from the studios 100%.
Thank you so much. And to the people who are like our OG folks who have been super helpful, I also want to give a shout out to you. You have been answering a lot of questions, being really kind to the new folks, welcoming them in. We greatly appreciate that. Like, words cannot describe how, because it's been a lot of people that even Toast and I and Violet are not able to necessarily, answer. So thank you so much.
Yeah. MMOs live and die by their community, and we've got one of the best ones in the industry. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
So with that, we'll wrap things up. Reminders, I'll just go through them really quick. We do have new emotes on the Discord. Definitely go check them out. They're so adorable.
All right.
We're trying to get them on Twitch, so stay tuned for that. We'll do our best to link up with them and get that
so
going.
much to talk about.
We do have a bonus dev discussion this month, which is multi-boxing. So definitely go answer that. That's going to be wrapping up July 6th.
I do not want them to allow multi-boxing at all, dude. I just don't like multi-boxing. I don't like the idea of multi-boxing. No.
We also have another one coming up.
And I think I said it before on your stream. I think the only time I'm okay with multi-boxing is if it's your primary window. Like if you're flipping to different windows or you're flipping to a different machine and interacting with only one window at a time. If you're able to maintain multiple windows with just one key press, no.
The last but not least, we have our test coming up. If you're a Leader of Men or Phoenix Initiative, definitely check your email. We'll be sending out.
Because there's no way to make that distinction, right? You don't know how people are doing it,
Or if you're still in the ticket system, it might catch you as well. We definitely need people to sign it, so definitely check your inbox. It might be in your spam or junk, but definitely go check that and reply so that we can get you all flagged up and get you ready for testing, because we want to start doing our next test here in August, and we need that done first. With that, we lastly, don't forget that our statue, all you have to do is register on our site. You don't have to do anything else, no payment or anything, just register an account. Anybody from April 7th, 2020 to September 7th, 2020 will get access to that. I think I can put that up on screen again.
Including all previous registrations.
Okay,
good.
All previous registrations. Yeah. That's true.
I might already be registered.
I don't know why I was thinking that. I'm just so used to having a start and end date for things. My mind. And that's it. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Steven, for taking time out of your day. I know you both are very extremely busy, so we really super duper appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. We appreciate it. Thank you to the entire Intrepid Studios. Everyone has done an amazing job of, kind of showcasing content every month. And we'll be with you all another update next month. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know in advance whenever that's coming up. So without that, we will put this video up on YouTube. Check it out, youtube.com/AshersOfCreation. You can go ahead and subscribe now. It'll probably be up later today, depending on YouTube.
God, they're such dorks. They're such freaking nerds. I love this.
So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
You already registered? Yeah, I'm registered. I think I'm registered.
Bye, guys.
All right, so let's go back to we were watching the Kickstarter video, but I'm just gonna kind of play this in the background while we talk about what we just saw. I mean, it was a really good, really good informative live stream. You know what I mean? What did you think, Mez?
Yeah, it showed a lot. The one thing I really want to see right now is any of the nodes actually develop. So we've seen some combat, we've seen some of the dungeons, and now we've seen some of the collection and stuff.
Just so you know, that actually has, I know you haven't seen it yet, but they have shown that happen in previous live streams. Where they showed this node.
To go in and catch up.
Yeah. It says this node just leveled up to blah blah blah, and then it showed them actually him actually being the mayor and going to a plot within the city and saying, okay, let's turn this into this, and then the NPC says, okay, it requires 4,000 wood and 3,000 stone, and then people can just walk up to the NPC. Anybody can walk up to the NPC and say, okay, we've gotten 2,300 out of 4,000 stone. We still need 1,700 more stone, and you can give however much stone that you can give to the development of whatever they're trying to develop in that one spot within that town, whether it be an auction house or a stables or a blacksmith or a tailor shop, or a general goods store or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's really cool. And then once that's done, they actually showed what it looks like to where it actually is built, in real time. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. I should definitely look into that one. One thing that I noticed, I noticed a lot of things, but one thing that I noticed specifically that stood out to me that I really love, was the ability upscaling, how they talked about upscaling of abilities. One thing that bothered me when I saw it was they showed the blink ability, and the blink ability was extremely underwhelming to me. However, then Mez mentioned, what if that could be just a rank 1 of blink. What if you can upgrade it, rank it up, and then you can travel a further distance? And I thought in my head, okay, that would make sense, because you don't want to start with a blink that takes you all this distance. You want to be able to rank it up by yards, you know what I mean, in the as you put points into it. And then he basically confirmed that when they had that one particle beam ability, that ray beam, and they said, okay, now is that beam able to pass through the enemy, or is it going to stop at the enemy? He says, good question. When it's at rank 1, it's going to stop at the enemy. However, you can rank it up, and as you rank it up, it will be able to start passing through the enemy, which I thought was amazing, because I love stuff like that. People are going to have the same abilities, but how strong the ability is going to be based on whether or not they choose to rank it up. And how does it rank up? Does it rank up based on your experience points? At a certain level you get a rank, or is it going to be more like Tree of Savior, for instance, where you can put money into the abilities to gain ranks, and you can get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 ranks on an ability, and every rank it increases damage a little bit and maybe possibly adds a certain potential to it.
So we talked about a little in the AMA. You've got So the way he made it sound is like you've got points that you can put into it,
Okay.
and you'll either rank up directly and just like go a full vertical rank up with, so the beam, it'll stop at someone, then it'll start to pierce, and then it might start to pierce and do some AoE.
Okay.
Or say in the terms of blink, so like the warrior, because whenever you pick a class, you pick your primary class, so say warrior or tank, and then you pick a secondary to kind of base on. That can be anything, rogue, bard, cleric, to kind of build whatever you want to build. So say warrior and you have a charge ability, if you can instead augment that with blink, a mage's blink. So you might have that charge that you that might have been what you saw him use, like running around a little faster. You might have some buildup with charge, or you remove that buildup entirely and you're just instantly at your opponent with blink. So both are power-ups, but both are power-ups in very unique ways, depending on how you want to build and how you want to spend those points. So it's not just 38 unique classes, it's all unique ways people can be. Like, trying to metagame and min-max this game is going to be... It's going to take some...
It's going to be a task. It's going to be a task, which is exactly what it should be. You know, this is not like, I don't want it to be one of those games where you rush the end game and that's where the game begins. This game, to me, seems like it's about the journey rather than the destination. You know, because it's not like when you get into the game, there's going to be areas that are tiered to different levels. It's not like that. You know what I mean? You get into the game, there's not going to be any end game content, because it's up to us, the players, the community, to create the content. We have to level up the nodes, and as the nodes develop, different things are going to happen around the world. You know what I mean? And dungeons and raids and things like that are going to start to appear where they didn't used to have any. You know, that's the way things are set up. So just going in there and, you know, with the whole the whole World of Warcraft thought process of you got to go here and here and here. You know what I mean? It's not like that. At least I don't believe so. You know? No,
I think you're right. Because so if you look at Warcraft, and I'm just gonna say it because at the end of the day, World of Warcraft is Diablo. You go in, you want to fight monsters to get gear that makes you better at fighting stronger monsters to get better gear. For this game, so much of it is based around the nodes, the building of them, to the point where, like, and as you said, like, upgrading the building will take.
On the video right now. This is amazing. Ahead,
yeah.
Sorry.
But like you said, like, okay, we want to build this building. It's going to take X amount of resources. That means anybody from like a level 1 player that just collected some wood, he's like, oh, okay, I can do that. A level 1 player all the way up to the guy who's got a million hours into the game. God knows if this game is able to deliver even 60% of what it's promising, I'm probably just going to live in it. Mm-hmm. So like anybody, so like, between me and somebody just coming into the game, you're going to have people contributing. And I think that's going to feel really good in a way that you just don't have with Warcraft, because you can't contribute in WoW unless you're in a meta build, because mathematically you're just not going to be competitive enough.
Yeah.
And I don't think that'll exist in this game, because it's too wide and there's too many ways for you to contribute to ever have to worry about a meta build.
Which I mean, I love that. I love that idea. Because it's hard for people to decide what the meta build is, right? Because it's not one of those things where whatever the level cap, let's say the level cap is 50. Let's just say, throw a number out there. There's the number, a level is arbitrary anyway.
I think it's supposed to be around level 50.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it's at. Okay, let's say it's 60. Okay, level cap is 60. All right. When you get a character to level 60, that doesn't mean that you're gonna have all these abilities at these ranks. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's not like you get this rank at this level, you get, at least I don't believe so. It's not like a World of Warcraft system where everything's like, you get this here, this here, this here, this here, and everything's on a very, very specific order of development. It's not like that in this game. You have a lot, it's a lot, they call it a sand park, right? It's a lot more sandboxy. It's about you creating your character and designing it the way you want it to be. You know what I mean? You're gonna put points into what you want to put points into, because that's where you're gonna feel like the power is for you and your play style. So it's not like there's gonna be this whole meta build for people aren't going to be able to decide what meta builds are until they've tried so many different iterations of so many different things. It's going to take a really long time for people to have that information. How did you feel about the outfits? You know, I really like the way the outfits look. Much more realistic. You know, I'm kind of like done with the World of Warcrafty outfits personally. I really like these outfits here, and Final Fantasy 14 has great outfits. It's what you would expect to see. You know what I mean?
In a modern MMO, yeah, I think they're hitting it right. Especially just looking at that completely finished gauntlet, I think I think it's going to be just as good as you would find in any modern MMO that wants to actually be taken seriously. They're obviously paying a lot of attention to customization. So 8 slots, it's pretty much just transmog for anyone familiar with that. So you're gonna be able to customize your character a lot. I do agree with you. I think I'm okay with limited items if you provide me at least a recolor. I think that's a decent middle ground. It's like, okay, you got this special recolor, or maybe it has like a small particle effect, but I could still have something similar just because I wasn't there. I see the benefit of limited time items, like with Warcraft Legion, the Mage Tower looks. I like that those were limited. It meant that it feels more important when it's permanent like that. But store items, yeah, I can see where that's kind of an issue. I kind of don't like that because it just feels like extending the Kickstarter when it's supposed to already be done and over with.
Yeah. I'm hoping also when it comes to outfits that they're going to be able to that you're going to be able to see the way weather affects your outfits, or maybe even durability. Like I don't know if you guys played Black Desert Online, man, but you could tell when your character was out in the field for a while, you could tell on your outfits. Okay, your outfits, hey, thank you for the follow. Your outfits would start to look weathered. You know what I mean? They would start getting they would start getting pale. They would start getting caked with blood. You know, I would be going around killing enemies, and like my outfit, my body was becoming caked in blood from all the enemies that were, that I was killing, and then I had to, after, playing for a certain amount of time, I would have to go and repair my outfit, and it would be clean. The leather would be nice again, or the cloth or whatever, and it would look good again. The blood would be gone, and I really, really liked that. And then when it would rain, you would go outside in the rain, and then you would be able to see how the moisture affected your outfit. You would be able to see it. It was almost like your outfit was soaking up all that moisture. So cool. And you could see it on your face, and like almost see drops of beads of water on your face. It's so amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Steven had mentioned that like things like the mask, like the water dripping down, will be added later. So I think that's something that's going to be in the works as well. And if they're talking seasons and everything, I'm sure that'll be there. Not to violently change the subject, but
no, please do.
If anyone watching doesn't want multi-boxing of any sort at all, I would go to the forum and vote, because right now it's 49% of people are saying they kind of agree with what I had said. Multi-boxing is allowed only if it's separate computers and you are not to be using any macros or software that mimics your keystrokes.
Here's this question. How do you enforce something like that? And that's the problem I have. Is something like that going to be easy to enforce? Are people that are going to walking around doing shit, and who are how they catch multi-boxers most of the time is by multi-boxers and bots in general, are by people putting
moving in unison.
Somebody putting in a ticket and reporting somebody. That's a lot of the times how they discover these people. So how am I going to report? And they're going to look into it and say, no, he's doing everything right. Okay, so that, you know what I mean? It's just so much easier. Just say, yo, you want to play a character, play a freaking character. There's no reason ever for you to need to play 5 at the same time. You're not doing that for any other reason other than to game the economy. or to get a leg up on items so that you don't have to work as hard. There's no other reason other than to cheat the system is why you're playing multiple characters. Nobody could ever give me any logical reason why you need to play multiple characters on a game, other than you don't want to play with other people, you want to do everything by yourself. In that case, go play Fallout or Witcher. You know what I mean? You don't need to play in an MMO, clearly, if you don't want to be part of the community. You don't need to game the system if you're not willing to, you know, go through what it takes to achieve the stuff naturally like everybody else. You know what I mean? You don't need to have it. You know, I'll never understand, you know? And if somebody could make a logical, coherent reason why it's necessary to multi-box, you know, that's going to be my personal position on it, you know, forever. I don't see it changing because I've never talked to somebody who can say, no, multi-boxing is really important because of this. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever been able to say that to me, you know?
Sure.
So I'd love for somebody to be the first. You know what I mean? I'd love for somebody to be the first.
There is one. I don't quite agree with it, but I like to be the devil's advocate. I know for Warcraft, yeah, the economy enthusiasts in Warcraft say that the multi-boxer. So in Warcraft, it's I think it's like 8 people. I don't exactly remember. Can take from a single node. So you can get like a party of just even 5 druids that'll all fly in unison to one node, completely drain it, fly to the next one. And over the course of a few hours, this one person can amass thousands of mats that will then be used for potions and elixirs to make Mythic Plus and raiding easier. Mm-hmm. So this, think of it as kind of like Amazon. Like they kind of become a mini Amazon where they can go in and just dump thousands and thousands of these mats into the auction house, driving the prices way down, thus making Mythic Plus and raiding cheaper, significantly cheaper. That is their argument for that. Me personally,
but okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, you finish.
Yeah. Me personally, I think I would prefer to pay a little more for those potions just to allow other players the freedom to, because that's the biggest issue with multi-boxers is they completely wipe out all the resources, the local resources. And we don't know what respawn times are going to be like here. We don't know if you can go to these. We know there'll be individual nodes, but if one multi-boxer goes to one of these multiple nodes, that's it. They're gone. Or not multi nodes, but like the big ones that are supposed to attract all these people. And it just robs the experience. So yeah, is it mechanically cheaper? Maybe, but it kind of does rob the experience from all the other players. That feels bad.
Okay, and you're talking about like multi-boxers doing that. Multi-boxing is okay. So here's my question. And I agree with you. But why do you have to make things cheaper? That's my question. That's the antithesis of how you develop an economy. Okay, you don't develop an economy by finding ways to make things cheaper. Okay, that's not. Things are going to be at a price that people are willing to pay for an item. Okay, if there's not enough money for an item, that people don't have enough money to spend on this sword, they're not going to pay that much for that sword. Okay, and that's the thing. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna make the person who really wants the sword have to pay less for the sword because they have less competition. Okay, the more competition is created when there's more money in an economy. You know, that's how more competition is created. So there's no reason to go out of your way to make things cheaper for people by saying, okay, that's a good reason to have multi-boxers, because they're able to gather all these resources around the world in mass quantities and get the resources out there to the people that are going to use it, yada, 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 and that's going to really help them out. No. Okay, they're doing that to help themselves out to make as much money as possible. The whole thing about, we're doing it to help the people is just so that they can continue doing what they're doing and everybody will, okay it. You know what I mean? I will, and that's where I stand on it. You know what I mean? I will never, ever think multi-boxing is cool. You know what I mean?
Well, as you said, they make it cheaper because it drives out. Because if you're a newer player or you're just leveling or you're just out questing, you're like, okay, one, I can't even get these mats because you're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the auction house, they're worth about as much as I would vendor them. Because pennies to a multi-boxer adds up really freaking fast. But to an individual player, it's pennies. It's not even worth opening the auction at that point. Yeah, so it's a weird thing. It's a very divisive topic, but honestly, for this game, I don't really see there being a huge benefit to it.
I don't see that either, especially since they're going out of their way to have lots of honestly what I see the idea of is if a lot of people see multi-boxers, all they're going to do is kill them all people are going to do is kill multi-boxers. You know what I mean? I see that happening a lot, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? You see a multi-boxer coming in, taking a freaking 10 characters on a freaking multi-person node, you're going to kill all 10 of those freaking people and take that node for yourself. You know what I mean? I could imagine something like that happening. Okay, so what did you think about the movement of the characters? Like, one problem that I had was the characters looked so stiff, before. But when they started looking, towards the end, they started showing the animations for a bunch of their different enemies. And that enemy movement, like, you could tell they worked on it, because the enemies were just they were contracting, they were breathing, they were alive when they were moving. Like, you could see that they were like living creatures. When you look at the characters running around in the game, they're so stiff, they're so robotic, and it just doesn't look like they flow in any way. And again, I understand, I get it, this is pre-alpha, I get it. However, we have to raise these concerns even if it's pre-alpha, because if we don't raise the concerns in pre-alpha, they have this way of thinking that, everything that they're doing is just fine, and they can say, oh no, we are actually planning on working on this a little bit later. It's pre-alpha, so we just haven't gotten there yet. And you can say, oh, okay, cool, let's talk about it again in alpha 2 then. You know what I mean? Because if it still looks like this in alpha 2, then we're gonna have something to say. That's the type of person I am. But I don't
think too much to worry about. If you remember the goat, even just its idle, like, seeing the little ear twitch, you didn't need that. If that wasn't in there, like, nobody would have called it out, nobody would have said a thing. But the fact that it's there, I'm in the Discord, people were like, look at that ear twitch, like, they were spamming it, they were excited about it.
The mandibles on a spider, dude. You see that thing, guys? Did you guys see how the spider was kind of like moving its tootsies around and everything like that, and then it just kind of crouched down, the center of the spider crouched down, and the knees kind of went up. It was almost like a turtle going into its shell, and the mandibles started twitching around and everything. That was sick. You know what I mean? That's like that. It's that kind of detail that I'm really looking for in this game. Because this game has so many ideas, and they're trying to do so many things. And I'm just wondering which one of the big systems. I've always had this philosophy, okay? And a lot of people have had this philosophy, right? Your game can't have everything. Okay, perfect example, Elder Scrolls Online and Elder Scrolls games and Fallout games, honestly, as a whole, right? They're plagued with character animations and combat issues, just plagued with it. Their combat and their character animations are very, very, very just basic. And I think that is because they put so much of their money into the character dialogue, and voice acting is so much of their budget that they don't have the budget for any of the other stuff. So I've been wondering and thinking in my mind, and honestly out loud, when I talk to people, I'm wondering what system, where are they going to drop the ball? Because I'm thinking in my mind, like, it's got to be somewhere, but I haven't seen that yet. Like, so far I thought it was animations, but after I saw these animations today, like, my goodness, man, this is like next generation stuff, guys. I mean, that's the way I looked at it when I was looking at that spider and everything. That's like, yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm conflicted here because like we've been burned so many times. This definitely has all the makings of the next No Man's Sky. It really does.
No, because they've shown more than No Man's Sky did. No Man's Sky showed conception.
No Man's Sky showed a lot. It just didn't show us a lot of what was actually there.
Yeah, No Man's Sky showed a lot of conception. Okay, this game's actually saying, here it is, guys. Here's we're actually in the game. This is one of the most transparent game development processes that I've ever been a part of, because I consider myself a part of it because I've been following it for years now. I kickstarted it. That I've ever seen, you know, and that does say something. I think that does say something. It's really very, very important to note that.
Yeah, if it wasn't for exactly that, and just like you can tell a dude is. I am so bad. You can tell that Steven has like good business experience. He's like he comes from a business and sales. Like that dude knows what his image is and he sticks to it. He's good.
Yeah, he is.
If it wasn't for stuff like that, we wouldn't be having this talk. I'd be like,
was that a bottle of sriracha? Was that a bottle of sriracha? Let's see. Oh, in the video. Like, is that a bottle of sriracha? Let's look, guys. Go ahead. I'm listening. That right there. Yeah, okay, I'm sold. They had a bottle of sriracha in the background, dude. I'm sold. That's all it takes. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Anyways, if it wasn't for those things, we wouldn't be having this talk. I just been like, yeah, this is just yet another MMO that's promising way too much. I know they've brought it up a couple of times. I'm about scope creep. I'm interested to know what they're ahead of schedule on, and I don't know. Like I said, if they deliver on over half of what they're promising, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great game. But I am waiting to see. Like I kind of want the foot to drop because we've been burned so many times. I was there back when Galaxies was going to like take over. I remember when people said Conan was going to take over WoW. Like dozens and dozens of games have come and gone saying that they're going to be this great thing, and they just turned into
a piece of hot garbage. The difference is this game is actually, see, none of these games that everybody talked about, everybody was just talking about them. They were theory crafting. You know, it's fun to theory craft about this game, but you don't need to as much because they're so open with the information that they're giving about the game. And there was one time where they weren't. Okay, and I don't know how long a lot of you guys have been following this. Maybe a lot of you guys are new to this game and don't really know much about it and are just kind of learning about it and being exposed to it now. But like I said, I've been following this game, watching it for a while, and it was about a year ago where they were really putting a lot into this whole apocalypse, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, which was this battle royale, Ashes of Creation, that they claimed they were using to test the battle system. You know what I mean? And that was a really big thing because they kept on putting time and development into this BR, and then they were like letting people play it, and then it was like, Apocalypse releases next week, and yada yada, and trying to get they were getting Shroud on there to stream it, and so he could play it and hoping that more people would, you know what I mean? And they kept on saying that they were using it to test the battle system and get metrics and yada yada yada, and the community just wasn't buying it, you know. And there was like this moment for almost an entire year where people were not happy with the game at all and the development of it. And since then, they've completely, you know, gotten rid of the whole BR thing. At least I haven't heard anything about the BR, like, at all. And they've gone back to fully going back into and working on just the game. And now things are they're starting to see a lot of more excitement in what's going on, and I think that was a really, really big decision, and I think the BR really, really scared a lot of people. The reason why I got into that was just because of the fact that a lot of games tend to lose their direction and start doing other things. And you know, this game has really been very, very open about what they're doing, or they've at least tried to explain it and everything like that. And then, you know, when they see people aren't liking what they're doing, it may take them a while, like the BR, but they got rid of it and went back to basics, which is what was reaching people in the first place. You know what I mean? And I thought, honestly, this game is being self-funded by, I'm not 100% self-funded, but mostly by Steven's investment of his own money. So I can completely see where, in his mind, this is a huge risk. Yo, I see this opportunity for this BR to make us like a nice influx of cash real fast. You know what I mean? So let's just work on this a little
what
bit.
MMO player hasn't been like Sword Art Online, but real. So I kind of get that, but at the same time, I'm happy that he was more realistic and dropped it.
Yeah. Because nobody wanted the battle royale. Nobody asked for the battle royale. They have enough. PvP systems in Ashes of Creation. They don't need a battle royale as well. You know, it's too much. It's too much, and nobody wants a battle royale MMO anyways. And you could tell because nobody really played it. You know, people were playing it because they were so starved for anything Ashes of Creation. And a lot of them wanted to shill for Steven, so and for Ashes in general, that they're going to play whatever they put in front of them and claim that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But the rest of us in the community who, you know, have a soul and have some sort of pride, are actually going to speak up and be honest about it. So, and I think that they saw that. So what else did you see in the that really caught you in the stream? Was there anything else that was really big to you?
I mean, I things that I've already pointed out. So like I do think that they need to make collection nodes a little more noticeable. If you're just on a horse, you have to like stop. Like even in the street, walking them, I was losing them. It's like, oh wait, that's a collection. It was like 2 steps into it. You could finally see that. Other than that, it's just the scale. Like, I like that there's a lot of breathing room. So one of my biggest issues, especially with later Warcraft, but as you can attest, even in Classic, is just how tight everything is. There is no room to just sit down and enjoy the land that you're in, because there's just mobs on top of you everywhere you freaking go. You can't take 2 steps without 10 mobs being right there. Like I think the only expansion that never did that really well was Mist of Pandaria, and somewhat wide, but mostly those were very specific areas where you could go. You kind of needed flight for it, but Mist did it great, where you had spots where you can just kind of sit and fish, and you're not going to get jumped by 3 different things. I really like that with this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a great. Overall, I thought this was a fantastic live stream. I was very happy with it. I think the other live streams that they were doing before were just. It was a whole lot of talking and not enough information. Okay, this one was a whole lot of talking, but the information that they passed was stuff that I was really concerned. Honestly, the main thing I was concerned about, honestly, was character animation. And I'm still a little bit concerned about it until I see it. I have to see it. I have to see character animations, you know, done. I will say I did like the dwarven concept art. I thought the dwarven concept art for their buildings was freaking amazing. Huge fan of that. So I mean, we'll see where it goes. But you know, all in all, great live stream. Like I said, guys, I am going to put a link. This has been me, HiroVision, and Maezriel. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to his podcast called Norganon. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. And he has a podcast which is basically dedicated to the lore of World of Warcraft. And we are both really interested in this, and probably going to continue to be discussing the live streams as they happen. in real time in the future, and possibly we are talking about doing a monthly video cast on Ashes of Creation. So if you guys enjoyed this, I hope that you guys will come back and see us on the next one. Okay.
Sure.
Maezriel, you want to say anything?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm hoping to do this again next month.
Absolutely. Hopefully it's before that. Hopefully it's before that. It'd be cool. But anyways, thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you on the next Ashes live stream.